But my legs heavy, I don't get it. How come I haven't hit it already? Still working, I'm still learning, I'm still searching, finally earning something, finally turning something called a profit. If I hear you talking shit, don't get caught in it. I'll be popping off and hit your ass, dropping all your shit. Yeah, I promise this, I got promises. You ain't stopping this, cross my shit, you'll be knocked unconscious, bitch. That's the consequence, I got this, I will not quit. Man, I'm on it, honest. I'm gonna launch quick, then I'm gone. It's just a matter of time before I'm over the climb and moving under my prime. Just quit my 9 to 5, I'm rocking, and they watching, cause it's shocking. Dropping all these top 10 songs, no stopping. It's time to live my life, it's time to live, not die. Wish I could slow down time and just enjoy the climb.
What is up, people? This is what we're gonna do. I want to play a clip real quick, and then we're gonna get into it. I think it's time that Flat Earth started answering some questions.
Is a force. Einsteinian gravity is not a force.
This is probably the first statement that's even come close to being accurate in this entire presentation, Quantum. Agreed with that statement.
Number 2, Newtonian gravity is a force. Einsteinian gravity is not a force.
This is probably the first statement that's even come close to being accurate in this entire presentation, Quantum Eraser. And as George Musser very clearly pointed out, Einsteinian gravity, while it is not a force, manifests itself as a force and can be treated as a force.
Number 3, Newtonian, the law of superposition applies. Einsteinian, the law of superposition doesn't apply.
Now this is when things start getting fun. I actually had no idea what the law of superposition was, so I looked it up, and here it is. This is the first reference I got. It had to do with the strata of rock and the idea that the deeper the rock layer, the older it was. Now clearly I could just run with this, but we all know that that would be an evocation fallacy where I'm using one definition of a word other than the definition that was being used by the presenter. But Bob the Science Guy don't roll like that. So I tried to find one that would be appropriate to what he was talking about. And here it is. Now again, the link to this is in the description, so you can read it yourself. But needless to say, I started reading it, and guess what I found a little bit further down? And there it is, right in the paper he quoted. When gravitational fields are weak and speeds are far from light speed, general relativity reduces to Newtonian gravity. Pays to read the whole paper, man.
The attribution or
Yeah, so I wanted to play that wonderful clip real quick. One of the biggest things that I'm really noticing right now is that, and I've said this before, and I 100% believe it. Let me go ahead and fix my mic. Second. All right, that should be a little bit better. One of the things that I noticed right away when listening to this is Flat Earth is it's definitely trying to figure out what to do next. It's not in a situation where they're going to be okay. That's just me. I could be I'm right, but like I said, today I'm not feeling the greatest. I did wake up feeling very good, so I'm kind of under the weather. So it won't be a very long stream, but I did want to go on because the past few days have been very good days for what I consider the globe understanding of things. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the panels. Kind of want to hear what you guys have been kind of blah 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 blah. Kind of want to hear what you guys think about what's been going on when it comes to flat Earth explaining things. One of the things I want to talk about when it comes to this is it's pretty important. Ready? It's how are they having this argument? If gravity isn't real, why is this argument being had? Why are they entertaining it? Why are they trying to say gravity isn't a force, but it's space-time? Isn't that kind of admitting gravity? I think it is. That's the funny part to me. Go ahead. Okay, so like I said, it's pretty odd to me that Flat Earth is arguing this right now. That Flat Earth is even. How are Flat Earthers who listen to Quantum Eraser, Riley, and all these people not asking these same questions? If Flat Earth is supposed to be fake, or if gravity's not supposed to be real, then shouldn't they be not arguing which it is, force or not? What's up, guys? How you guys doing? Hello. Do you hear me? I bet they don't hear me because my mic's not set up yet. You guys can hear me now?
No, there you go.
There. Okay.
Yep.
And everyone in the chat can hear you guys, so it's all good.
Cool.
Hey, how you, Sean?
How you doing, Pete? Hey, what's up, Sasha? It's been a while. Someone is in.
I guess somebody's outside. I think that's Pete.
That's me outside. We're stuck on gravity again. Okay, let's make progress.
That's what I'm saying. All right, so what do you guys? My first issue with this is that Flat Earth is arguing gravity in the first place. If gravity isn't real, then why are they arguing force or not?
Yeah, that's a good point.
They're not. You see, there's no flat Earth. There's people in place with sort of louder voices than others. For me, I think we all have to agree. I agree there's a pushing force from above. That's what it seems to be like. You say now it's a pushing force, pulling force from below. Gravity says, people like Riley, etc., say there's no force at all, but that's not all of flat Earth. Bob from Globebusters, for instance, Morgile, I think, all hold to some sort of prevailing force, but not as described.
But Pete, that if that were the case, then wouldn't it be more of a quote unquote push from the higher up you go than the lower? Because remember, the gravitational force, I like saying that. The gravitational force is stronger the closer to the center you are than the higher up. If gravity was a push, then it would be from high up. It would be coming from the sky.
Yes.
Yeah,
right.
The pressure gradient would be reversed.
Right, I think it's harder to get up to the sky. So let's say you have a jetpack. The higher you go up, the more energy it takes to go higher and higher. That's what I think.
That's because the air's less dense.
Yeah, it's less
thrust upon. That's the official explanation. So I mean, that's not settled by any means.
Well, it's not so much the
proven explanation,
but it's not the official. Hang on, Pete. It's not the official explanation. It is the explanation.
Well, let's get more simpler than that. We agree there's some sort of a force that's in my brain, everything is settled in its particular way for a reason.
Gravity.
No, there's a greater story to Earth here. This is what I have asked Riley this loads of times. What have you replaced the vacuum of space with? What is the nature of this container you say logically must exist because we live in a pressurized system? These things don't matter, I'm told. Well, they fundamentally matter because Earth is a system, a unified system in itself, and everything has to be taken in consideration together.
Well,
that's my point.
You know why they say it doesn't matter? Because they can't explain it. They assert these things and say, oh, well, there must be a dome. Well, explain the dome and show evidence of the dome, and they can't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
For me, they're limited hangouts, and if you don't, once you come to a flat Earth frame of mind, you have to think in terms of a bigger picture here then as well. So we take that all the stars, the galaxies, etc., are skylights of some sort, nature unknown, but we do understand that everything is much more up close. So
well, And then there's what's powering those stars and skylights?
Do you want me to say it? Should I say it, Sean?
No.
No.
Aristarchus!
Well, for me, excuse
you
me a
know.
minute. I have my glass. Drink.
That's the way it's
No,
done. I'm
farmers.
telling you.
Like my
Damn
liver
it, so do
cigarettes.
I.
That's a nice drop of wine. That.
Hang on. There's a story written,
Mine's
and
orange
for
juice.
me, that's the way it's written. Aristarchus is that source he asked for Sasha.
Don't ask
Sometimes
that
I
again.
find, I find sometimes that the flat earthers are in it for the money, for the products they sell, for the merchandise, just for another revenue.
Well, that's the
T-shirts,
problem.
mugs.
Because the
Those
biggest
important things
voices,
in life.
out there are the ones doing exactly that.
Oh yeah, definitely like Jeranism.
Yep. Bro Sanchez, Nathan.
Yeah, Nathan Oakley. Yeah. And the other Nathan, isn't it? The other Nathan.
And again, doing that isn't a problem. The problem becomes
The cashing in.
when the information comes out and your narrative, what you've been saying doesn't change at all against what you have to say. That's when it's a problem. You're lying to people to make sure you continue that cash flow.
They've been doing it for so long. They probably believe their own lies.
No way. Nope.
No.
The way
They have to.
They're grasping
distance-
onto it. They're grasping
Yeah.
onto any piece of evidence that will give them hope. And this is why, the answer to your question, this is why they're arguing the fact of this gravity thing, is because they want to convince other people. They don't want. It's a religion. It's like a religion.
But
It's a cult.
here's a problem, though. Here's a problem.
Cult.
I'm about to throw a wrench
It's
into
a
it.
cult.
You ready? I'm throwing a wrench into it.
Monkey wrench.
Aren't
Go for
there
it.
Globers that do the same thing? For instance,
Of course.
that flat Earth has to keep going, otherwise they go down.
Well, but
Let's hear what you believe in, Freeman. Let's hear what you believe in. I haven't heard
But hang
much
on, Pete.
from
Hang
you.
on, Pete.
so-
Hang on, Pete. I want to hear what they have to say about this, because one of the things that is an issue is one side blames the other side for something, and then they don't realize that it's actually the problem on both sides. This whole cashing in is a problem on both sides.
Absolutely.
And I like saying names, so I don't really care. And if they want to answer for it, that's fine. I wish they would. But like Fight Flat Earth, Red's Rhetoric, Team Skeptics, all these guys, they need Flat Earth to keep going.
Joe Rogan and Eddie Bravo cashed in it. They played the good cop, bad cop thing to sell merchandise.
Absolutely.
To sell T-shirts that says "I'm a flat Earth shill" to the people that are on the other side, the globe side, and then Eddie had his side on the flat Earth side.
Where do you
they
think?
were best friends.
Yeah. Where do you think everyone found out about Flat Earth? I ran into it, and then people trickled in. But when Joe Rogan and all them started talking about it, that's when all these like kids found out about it.
Yeah.
I found it from Simon Dan.
There you go.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
He's gone
think I
downhill a
actually-
bit. His videos have gone downhill a little bit. I mean, I used to enjoy his videos. Used to go into detail, but now it just seems to be
And that's
showing a
what,
clip and roasting it a little bit.
Well,
Yeah, they're a little style.
Conspiracy
see, that's the thing.
Cats is
That's the
good.
thing. That's because
Conspiracy
he's
Cats
not
is good.
taking it. He's not taking it to that extent of disrespect where you have to do it to make people laugh and blah blah blah.
Yeah. He's cashing in, like you said. He's cashing in. Whereas
Well-
Conspiracy Cats, I do enjoy his videos.
Oh,
What
they're the
I've
best
been
ones.
seeing-
They do make
He has
Absolutely.
merchandise
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Conspiracy
So
Cats,
informative.
Freeman. I'm pretty sure Conspiracy Cats has merchandise as well to sell.
Yes, but yeah.
But he's not
still-
advertising it during his uploads. I didn't know about it.
He still has it to sell, Sean. This is all the benefits of
That's fine.
all of this.
Now, okay, perfect.
We're not saying it's
Now
a bad
show
thing.
me what point he's creating some type of narrative where he keeps himself there. I promise you, if he can make every flat earther believe it's or realize that it's a globe, he'll no longer have anything. He won't care.
He doesn't.
He's a
need
liar,
one.
man. Like the rest, he's a
What about
liar.
the
They know.
documentary with
They know
that
they're
laser-
lying.
Sorry, Pete.
They know they're lying.
But
and
what
Freeman,
evidence is
right?
there?
Well, okay, Sean. You saying there's no intelligence hand in all of this on both sides?
It depends on
Where
who
did
you're talking
all
about.
intelligence agencies go? Where did
It
all
would
the
depend.
powers
It
that
would
be
depend
go?
on who you're talking about, and I guarantee you, none of us are worth a shit to them.
Well, Freeman here says he knows Gem Panda and he's met him. Gem Panda is one of the main shills, of course, in this whole arena.
I've
Why do you
never
think-
said
why-
I've never said I've met anybody
He said they
called
talked
Gem
about
Panda.
it. I said they talked about it. That was it.
Yeah, they
And-
nearly met up.
And what evidence is there that Jim Panda is a shill?
Who is Gem Panda, and when did I meet up with them?
Here we go. Let's hear your truth anyway, free man. What's your basis for?
I'm intrigued.
No, hang on.
Gem Panda
I've heard of this.
Stop, Pete. You made an accusation. You said that Gem Panda was a shill.
Jim.
Yeah.
So who or what evidence do you have of that besides just you feel that way?
Do you mean Jeremy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Jeremy, Gem Panda.
Yeah, I've not met up with him, but I met with him on over video call. We spoke.
Well, Sean, you asked me a question, and I take that back. Then I was under the assumption, it wasn't said that you met him, but that's okay. You did speak to him on Skype or whatever.
Absolutely, yes, I did.
You know him.
Yeah, I know.
You know his role.
I don't know his role, but I know his stance. Yeah.
So you didn't know Jeremy. You didn't know Jeremy was Gem Panda.
No, I didn't. I don't know who this Gem Panda person is.
Okay.
No, Pete, you know I'm not involved. Back on.
Don't know anything about you, man.
Well, I explained this back on that other channel that forgot his name, Jamie. I don't spend every waking day on this. Do you know what I mean? I'm busy doing other things, so I don't know all this inside story this inside shit that you all know. Do you know what I mean? So,
well, I don't remember you, man, so maybe it'll come back to me. But back to Sean's question. Sean, I've been in this arena for years and I've spoken to Jeremy loads and loads of times. Not one ounce of movement, not one conspiracy sort of leaning. It's always defending official stories on every level. Now, I can't prove that to myself. We've no face to go on. If I set out to try and prove these things, I'm sure I could do it. But I'll just accept that there are plenty of actor agents in this arena. And
I've shown my face multiple times on live chats. I've changed my picture and showed me my ex-fiance. I'll change it now if you like, Pete.
No, you don't need
That's
to.
okay, man.
I'm on Discord. I've entered your Discord and identified who I am.
I'm just saying I don't remember you, right? And if we spoke on Jamie's, it would have been going back a few years and maybe
it was a few years ago, yes.
But at the same time,
3 years ago.
Pete, here's the thing, though. You're just throwing accusations out now. As far as Gem Panda is concerned, I don't think he doesn't go on the narrative of the media or anything on every event. He didn't talk about every event. He's pretty much staples himself as someone who's very knowledgeable at Apollo and the different launches that NASA had. Like those are the things he talks about. He doesn't talk about.
He's just a normal guy with a normal job in his spare time. Just refutes arguments. Yeah. That's the narrative. That is what I know.
It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. What I'm talking about is people who create they're creating issues with Riley and all them for that back and forth bicker shit instead of it being about information.
For drama,
Riley is the courtier of controversy. He is the solicitor. You notice the sweet tongue he has? He's put in place. He's an actor acting. Without the other side. Without the other side.
I think he's a nobody. And
he is a. They're all nobodies.
Yeah, they're all nobodies. Pete, is there anyone who's not playing the part?
We're all nobodies.
Here tonight, I don't know, man. Farmer is definitely playing a part. You are, Sean. Freeman is from the basis of our conversation the last time. Crashes, I'm not so sure about Crashes, but because I would say yes, he's playing a part of some form or another. Well, Sasha,
by playing a part, you mean I'm a shill who's getting paid by somebody?
Yeah, you're not here as an honest inquirer. You're not here
I'm a
speaking your mind,
individual.
having an open discussion. You're all here to defend a position. So if I ask you on anything new, I know what I'm going to get.
Wait, Pete.
I'm here to talk to like-minded people.
Here's the thing. We are here. You're right about one thing, Pete. We are here to defend our position. So are you. Does that make you a paid shill?
No, I'm not here to defend any position, Sean.
Your position.
That's what you're doing.
Except yours.
No, your position is that everybody's a shill.
Right now.
No, you asked me my thoughts on it. That's my thoughts, right? I've spoken them over.
That is your position. That's still your position, Pete.
No, we're talking about I'm talking about the wider argument here.
So,
right,
Pete.
Alongside, hang on, Sean. I was in Jose's today, right? And the discussion was about satellites. And I came on and I said that who invented satellites? First of all, the idea of artificial satellites, Arthur C. Clarke, right? A science fiction writer. Kennedy then was a big pusher. He transferred the science fiction to to I was going to say to fiction, but to fact. Apparently, Kennedy was a big promoter of satellites and also the moon landings. We'll do it because not because it's hard, because it's easy. No, something like that. Anyway,
Suck at that.
but he was a big promoter of it. The minute I mentioned, of course, you should know by now that JFK's assassination was a more media fakery. Well, Jose booted me, so. What are you going to do with that? That's my true and honest sort of perspective. I'm looking at it from this deceptive angle, and I'm connecting all of those different things. So that's a valid point to talk about, right? None of us can vouch for satellites personally. So if we want the truth,
we can't
follow
vouch
any
for
path.
satellites
GPS.
because we can see them.
Follow any path. You should be trying to disprove satellites, Sasha.
You can see the satellites.
Disprove a spinning baller that every hand's turning.
Just look up in the sky. You can see them.
So let's just expand on that a minute, right? So if
satellite, guys, I don't want any. Only one we could probably see is like ISS. Don't go looking up for direct TV satellite. You're not going to see it with the naked eye.
No. But you can see satellites.
If
you see all the craft in the sky, Sasha. Have you ever seen all the craft in the sky? There's something going on in our skies that you wouldn't believe. I saw a
so
craft.
What happens to the satellites that get built by the
I saw a black
that
triangular craft with 2 red lights, which followed me along the side and came right in front of me. Not in close, but not too far away. I knew there's some intelligence going on there. There's shit going on in the sky that we have no idea.
Was that guy fight the deception on Jose's panel today?
Fight the deception.
No, not that I remember.
Don't think so. No.
He probably was in the chat, but that guy, he swears he tracked the ISS and it turned around and went another direction.
What? Well, that's quite impossible.
It is.
You don't.
Why?
You don't turn that thing around
because it's traveling at 17,000 miles an hour.
1,000 miles an hour.
Yeah.
You can adjust its orbital distance because it has to every now and then, but you can't just turn it around.
That would take a ridiculous amount of fuel and.
You'd have to put. Imagine it was a reflection.
They'd have to go install new engines on that if they wanted to do that.
Not real.
Well, the structure imagination.
Hey Pete, do you realize that every time you start a sentence when it comes to something like that, you go, "Imagine if." We're not imagining.
Well, I'm saying imagine it's not real. It's not what Sasha is saying.
I know.
You realize how difficult it would be to stop a craft.
Imagine,
with all
but it's always an
information
imagine. You realize that?
But no, I'm asking. This is Sasha says imagine me to think that way, that there is a craft and it'd be impossible to stop it at 17,000 miles an hour.
The ISS is real. I have seen it fly over my house.
I've seen something that they described it as well. An extremely bright light, unbelievable.
It's no. You can see photos people have taken with cameras.
I've seen all that
manual
stuff.
It's more like a drone, buddy.
Ooh, and even the best one I've ever seen, Jeranism.
Oh yes, the transit of the moon. He's done that twice, hasn't he?
Yeah,
three times.
Oh, is it 3 times?
He's done it 3 times.
What was this stuff about that laser gyroscope that proved there was a 15-degree spin, and then Jeranism tried to disprove it, and then ended up proving there was a curve.
Yeah.
Well, Bob's actually the first time in the film. It wasn't Bob; it was somebody else with a fiber optic gyro. And then I think last week a video came out of Bob and Nathan Thompson with a fiber optic gyro, proving exactly the same thing. It was giving a 15-degree per hour drift.
And how did they do?
So if that would be true, if those gyros will be truly telling the truth, that means we could just suspend on the air and wait for China to appear down my ass.
What? No, you're not. As usual, you're talking bollocks.
Think about that. I want you guys to start turning on your critical thinking skills mode.
Right. As the Earth started spinning, the atmosphere started friction. It causes friction.
So the atmosphere. So if you are floating on the atmosphere, you're traveling also at the same speed that the Earth, no matter where you are.
Yeah,
that is so ridiculous. So then, why you saying that the gyro works? If the gyro is proving that we're moving, so it's like, how come we cannot just suspend ourselves? So it's not logical. Your logic on the glove is all globe diarrhea, brothers and sisters.
The gyroscope doesn't spin by
you do realize that
it spins on its own.
Earth. Yesterday, we proved that the glove is not flat.
Yeah,
when
the glove isn't flat.
When Carlos came on and showed you the glove is not flat.
Bullshit. The glove.
Oh no, it wasn't Carlos.
Oh,
it
I
was
know what
Carlos,
you
it was
mean.
Cliff.
No, it was
It was
Carlos.
Cliff.
Yeah, that was
Carlos.
fun. That was fun. Yes, I know what you mean. Yes.
Yeah, you got to hand
Your
it to Cliff,
spinning
right?
ball is just in your imagination.
Does he
brother.
change his name or
No,
something?
it's not.
Big hand for Cliff.
And your flat Earth's in your imagination.
Well said.
What imagination? We're doing
Oh, well,
tests.
the
You have not done any tests, lady. Have you personally, lady, done any
Sasha,
tests?
There's a
hey,
big
Earth,
presumption to
finding
make.
the curvature.
Earth. Sasha's a boy.
Sasha's a boy?
Yes.
Oh, here we go. Sasha, are you a male?
Yes.
Can you go on
Okay,
camera? Do you
excuse
mind
me,
going on
sir.
camera?
Excuse me,
No,
sir.
no,
I'm
hey,
sorry,
no, hey, time
Sasha.
out. Hey, let's
I
make
go
something
camera
clear.
here.
I'm sorry,
let's,
mister.
Let's
An
make very
introduction.
Did you
Pete,
just
Pete,
misgender her?
stop right now
Yeah.
because Sasha's underage and you will not ask him that question. Period. Done.
Yeah.
Can you not have
Okay.
underage people here, Sean, please?
No, I can. I
Okay,
can have whoever
I'm
on
sorry.
my panel I want.
Well,
You
Sasha,
guys have to
Sasha.
adjust
Now
it
let me
to my panel.
address Sasha,
Well,
Mister.
I'm glad I know that now.
Oh,
I watch
young
my
man.
language.
Have you done any? Have you
I would,
proved
if
or
anything had gotten out
tested
of line,
the
I would have
spinning
said
ball?
something. I've had to do it before.
We have an under 18-year-old telling me the truth now, Sean, right?
Yep.
So
And-
have
yeah,
any
because
of you
Pete,
done any testing
I've
yourselves?
I've talked about this
Hey.
before. He's part of one of the
Yes.
younger kids that are on Discord that are extremely fucking smart. So yeah, I allow him to. Give his
Okay,
opinion.
I
Well,
want to
you
hear
could've
from
let us know.
Sasha.
You could've
How
let
does
me
he
know
know
at the start anyway.
we don't live on a spinning ball? How did you know? Not exclude NASA. Don't forget about NASA.
Don't
Okay.
need NASA.
Forget NASA? Okay. Well, I know we don't live on a flat Earth. And then what's the other explanation?
How do you know you don't live on a spinning ball? Did you test it yourself?
Yes, I have. I mean,
Okay.
you can see it.
No. Where did you see it in your experiment?
I mean, I've flown on planes. I can see that we're on a ball.
Oh, God.
No. We know we cannot see curvature from an airplane. Neil deGrasse Tyson already addressed that question. Your own hero.
You shouldn't revert
Sean, deep
back to
breaths.
Have you personally done any tests yourself, sir?
What kind of tests?
Like a curvature test, like finding two stationary points with a body of water in between and determine their topographical elevations with topographical maps.
That doesn't
and
work.
term-
That does not work. Doesn't
You
work.
don't
that way.
need to do any of that.
And determine
It
the
doesn't
distance
take Earth.
if you find a stationary.
Earth.
Let Sasha
You're asking
answer,
it.
Sean.
It does-
Come on.
no,
That's a
no,
direct
no,
question.
stop.
Let Sasha
Because-
answer.
No, because what he just asked is on topographical maps do not have anything to do with curvature. It only shows elevations of areas. Doesn't
The
How have
reflect
you
a
proven? That's
curvature.
the question to Sasha. How have you proven that the Earth is a globe and you don't live in a flat Earth?
Well, everything I look at shows that it's a globe. Everything that anybody said is true, I can verify by if the ISS is in transit, I can go outside and I can look up and see it.
Yeah, but it can also go in transit around a plane, right? About a flat plane. It can also go around the North Star.
I've been studying the flat Earth and trying to learn how it works, and it just doesn't make sense. I've been trying to understand the sun on it.
Yeah, well done.
It doesn't make sense.
So you understand the globe model,
doesn't
then?
work.
But Sasha,
Yes,
you understand the
I
globe
understand
model.
both models.
Okay, so explain me the flat matter. What do you think how does the seasons work on the flat matter model?
Well, it's a spotlight sun, and so it orbits around the plane, and then seasons work by the sun orbiting closer and farther away.
Well done.
Right, well
Exactly.
done.
Exactly.
So how
But
does
it
that
doesn't
Welcome
work.
to flat Earth.
When I tried to visualize that and model it and simulate it, it doesn't work.
Oh, when you have you modeled
Yeah,
it
you would
with
have
the
to slow
analemma?
down. You'd have days would be faster.
Have you ever heard of the analemma, sir?
The what?
Analemma.
No.
And you've
the
modeled it, you've
analemma
never heard of
is
the
a
analemma,
shape.
Sasha.
Is a shape of infinity. Is the number 8, that if you take a picture of the sun or the moon, you will see the shape of the analemma, which is the infinity sign. Yes, you're right. The sun and the moon are on the same orbit, and they contract and expand as they do their rotation on a smaller and bigger circle.
Right.
The infinity sign was.
Let's just
made up
clarify
by
what
man.
the analemma is. If you take a snapshot of the sun every day of the year at the same time, and you overlay all of that, then you will get that 8, which is top heavy, northern heavy, as opposed to southern heavy. That's what Earth is Seriously Flat was talking about. You've never heard of that, Sasha. So
No.
you are a bit limited in the information that maybe you have then to fill in the gap.
Yeah, you have to fill up all the gaps because this is an ongoing investigation for sure. I don't know if you're familiar with the documentary. It's called The Principle, where renowned scientists declare that we are in the center of the universe.
No, okay, the center of the universe, it appears that way because of how the universe expands. The Richard Feynman did a really good, it was a
Check this.
It was a lecture from.
Nice.
It was a lecture I watched on. I think it was string theory or something. It might have been Feynman. Yeah, I think it was Feynman, and he did a really.
The string
he had a really
theory
good.
has done nothing for humanity. You know that, right?
No, that's unrelated.
CIA Feynman.
That's unrelated. That's unrelated to what I'm saying.
You're right.
There was he had a great model of why it appears that you're at the center of the universe, regardless of your position in the universe, because of how it expands.
You believe all that? Did you look into Feynman being a CIA agent?
That's right.
Oh, listen to all the laughter. Listen to all the laughter. Hang on, what's wrong with you people?
Okay, let's show that evidence.
What's wrong with us?
I've never had any reason. I've never had any reason to suspect or look into that.
You've never had any reason. Now, have you ever had any reason to suspect that the earth beneath your feet is moving anywhere throughout your whole life, Sasha?
What was that?
Have you ever had any reason, just like you said you had no reason to suspect anything about Richard Feynman, have you ever had any reason to suspect that the earth beneath your feet, right, the stuff that you stand on, has ever moved 1 inch, 1 iota in your whole life?
Well, yes.
Where? When?
Well, if you're talking about 1 inch, everything moves all the time.
No, I'm talking about the earth beneath your feet moving, not when you move over it. The earth beneath your feet that you're on moving.
Beneath my feet? Yeah, the earth moves.
How do you know? What evidence?
Very slowly, I might add.
I've seen, for example, sidewalks sink and rise, and I mean everything moves.
Okay.
Are you talking about like spinning ball?
You've seen sidewalks sink and rise. What are you talking about?
He's just talking about the movement of
any evidence of spinning.
Oh,
on
spinning!
a ball.
You want to talk about spinning?
Yeah,
Okay,
if moving means spinning, glove zombies think that we're spinning ball.
Okay,
And
well,
we
yeah,
know
you
that-
look up at the sky, and you see
Oh,
the
at
stars.
The sky. Hang on, I didn't talk about the sky.
No, let me talk.
Sky is separate.
Okay, so if
that's how he can, he does.
I can see the Big Dipper from my house. If you observe it, it changes positions throughout the year.
Right.
And that shows that something must be moving.
Yeah.
And since
Yeah, that's what the Principle movie is all about. The Principle documentary talks about the Big Dipper, the how come we don't see the Big Dipper from the ISS, nor the
seriously.
That documentary, by the way,
hang on.
How come we can't see the Big Dipper from South
please.
America?
Let me just ask Sasha. So yeah, we know something is moving. The Big Dipper moves, right? So we can all appreciate that everything seems to revolve around Polaris in unison. So we know something is moving. But just as you're so sure that Richard Feynman is above board because you've never considered any CIA involvement, I asked you for the evidence that the earth beneath your feet, has ever moved. And I'm not asking you to refer to anyone else, Sasha. I'm talking about yourself, your own experiences in life here.
There I have a problem, because if we never referred to anybody else, we wouldn't advance in civilization. We would still be in the Stone Age.
You seem to be very young to know everything about everything.
No, if we never referred to, like Sean talked about yesterday, he did a very good example when he was talking to Jay Alex. If we'd still be in the Stone Age if we didn't refer to other people.
This is nonsense, bud, because the Stone Age is only something that you've been presented to in the history.
It's actually not nonsense at all.
I think you're talking about if you just limit yourself to the senses that you have as a human being and not looking outside the box and use mathematics and measurements and experiments. Do you know what I mean? This is how
people can't trust their senses. I mean, that's been proven.
Hey, Sash, if I were to give you $10,000, what experience experiment would you perform to either show us curvature or spinning? Which one would you rather do?
I
Spinning?
would buy a ticket to the moon on the Falcon Super Heavy and
Live stream.
fly up there and take a look for myself.
Boom.
This is very childish for me, Sean. And
Is
maybe,
it
you know,
childish?
one sense Sasha here is
It's
more
not childish.
capable of
It's not
arguing.
childish because there's
How high do you think you need to be to see the spinning ball? The whole thing, the whole blue marble. How high you think
the
you need
whole
to be?
well
Because the ISS
feet.
don't only show us fisheye lenses of the
No,
horizon.
well we've
No,
got
they don't.
ISS,
Hold on a
the
second there. No,
ISS,
they don't.
the ISS only shows 3% of the Earth's surface at any given time.
There is a
Yeah, well,
documentary, there is a
250
film.
miles is not high enough. I have enough charge on my Tesla
Nowhere
to get
near
there.
high. Nowhere near
There-
high enough. Exactly.
There is a 1 hour tour of the ISS where he shows you with a normal camera, not a fisheye lens, through the eye, this pod that they see the Earth below, and you can clearly see the curvature. Clear
you can
proof.
go up with a weather balloon. You can send a weather balloon up and see the curvature.
Yes,
There's-
we
no,
have
you
sent
can't.
weather
No, you can't
balloons.
touch
Flat
it.
earthers have sent weather
you can.
balloons
I'll-
with linear
I'll pull some
lenses,
up.
and you don't see no detectable
Right,
curvature.
exactly.
No,
When you,
I've seen.
So,
if you,
hang on,
if you
Sasha.
don't, they don't let us send a non-fisheye lens to
Calm
the
down.
ISS.
Look,
Right.
the problem is it shows you concave and it'll show you flat and it'll show you straight because of how huge.
Freeman, do you agree with Sasha that you can see curvature from an airplane? Sasha
Yes,
said
I
that.
do not agree. I do not
Okay,
agree with
no,
that.
no, that's not true. You
So you're mistaken
can
there,
see
Sasha,
the,
then.
You
can
can't see
it.
you can't see the
I'll show
curvature, but
you.
you can see structures that would go inside the
I will.
curvature.
I'll be able to show
Now
you
you should
guys
go and
right
read
now.
things, Sasha, and come back in a few years with a
No,
more fixed.
no.
That's my advice.
Pete.
Okay, Sean.
Background.
Okay.
Someone's in the background.
Oh, and about your question about how far away you need to be to see the whole Earth, you would actually have to go into the fourth dimension if you wanted to see the whole thing, because you can't see three dimensions, the whole three dimensions, if you're.
That's right. Yeah.
If you just go far
What's
away.
going on here? What's going on here, Sean?
I am pulling up how you can
I
see.
think what you're saying is you can just see what the one side.
On the fourth dimension, you need to be on ayahuasca or peyote.
No, you don't.
On peyote. Yeah,
you don't.
you gotta be on peyote or ayahuasca.
No, that's how
Did you-
you live a life of destruction.
Sean, you know this. Do you know there could be some strong language here? Did you invite Sasha on particularly for some particular reason? I don't think this should be any place for anyone under 18.
Why?
I genuinely mean that.
Why?
You might even get yourself into trouble, bud.
No, he's been on here numerous times.
Okay.
I don't.
didn't
It's
understand.
okay. No, it's okay.
We'll
No,
put this with Pete.
we're just teaching you how to, Sasha,
Yeah,
how to
But
test.
I
the
told you
law.
guys. I
Josh is
told you guys the
intelligent.
hang on. I told you guys the situation, and I mean, of anybody, Earth, he's completely changed his persona, and he's being more than respectful.
Okay.
If you can't
Well,
do that, and if you can't do that, Pete, you should step off the panel because
no, that's fine. No, you can hear me. I'm being respectful.
Oh no, you are. I'm just saying, but you also seem worried. But there's no reason to be. Because
No, I'm not worried. I'm not worried in the slightest. I'll go on camera here if you want and say exactly what I have
No,
to say.
please don't.
But it is a little difficult for someone like me to have to hear Sasha telling me the truth. So if I question them
Why?
on a few basic things and they can't answer, they should have the wherewithal to go away and then re-question
Why?
things. Right?
But everything he said, Pete, it's made sense to me.
You've asked me what proofs I've done
something's
myself
moving.
to see the Earth's
Okay.
curvature, and the only proofs the flat earthers have been able to come up with have been very resource dependent. They've taken a lot of materials and a lot of time, and that's stuff I don't have. So
Why
you
are you
can't
so
expect.
passionate about this? When did you first start looking into flat Earth, Sasha?
I told you I saw a video by Signman Dan.
How long ago was that?
7 months ago, maybe.
Are you kidding, man? Are you kidding? Okay.
So wait, what do you think?
You're,
how much time do you think?
you're
how do you
embarrassed
think-
that somebody
how-
who's been into it for 7 months can sort of basically talk sense to you.
Yeah, congratulations, man.
Yeah.
Yes,
No problem.
congratulations, Sasha. I think you're. I think you're doing superbly.
And I
all questioning.
you know, I thoroughly understand both models. I explain the flat Earth model all the time to people
So what's
looking
lacking?
into the
What's
topic.
lacking in why can't the Earth be flat and stationary then, Sasha?
It doesn't make sense.
In what way?
It violates the fund. It, like, for example, the force that pulls you down to the ground. A lot of flat earthers say that it's density and mass, but that wouldn't work if there wasn't, because density and mass don't work without gravity.
Well said.
Well, not
So
mass. Not mass. I mean, weight.
This is not productive here. I'm asking you for your own original thoughts. Forget
Yeah,
about
that's my original thought.
What about what he's saying isn't his own original thoughts,
okay.
Pete?
So what he's saying, a lot of flat earthers say this and that. There's no flat earther speaks for me, especially, or no one else.
So because he hasn't talked to you and can't give you what you say is different or wrong,
no,
you're telling him that he shouldn't be talking
said,
about
hang
it.
on. All right, Sean, if you listen to what he said, I said, why can't the Earth be flat and stationary? He brought in what a lot of flat earthers say, and say that can't be the case in terms of his model.
And
now,
I think your question's loaded.
How am I supposed? What am I supposed to go off of? You're asking me why can't the Earth be flat, but I have to go off of a flat Earth model if I want to describe why it can't be flat, and you're not allowing me to have a model.
You have to go off your own brain, right?
Because
my own brain.
Pete, stop, Pete. No, Pete, you cannot make the criteria of how he's supposed to think. You not realize what you're doing right now?
No, hang on. He said I have to go off the model.
No, you're telling him he has to do it a certain way, and that's not true.
Listen,
if I went off my
you answered, Sasha, you answered by saying that all you can do is go off a certain model, as if
that's not what I said.
It's all about you. No, you're there to ask questions for yourself because you want to find out the nature of the truth of matters. Now, don't say to me that it can't be the case. The Earth can't be flat because some flat earthers say this, or some flat earthers have given this model.
That's not what he said. That's not what he said.
He's quoting facts.
I don't know what Sasha is considering.
The poll.
Why are you so threatened?
In my mind,
hang on, Sasha. Why are you so threatened? Pete?
Not threatened.
You seem very threatened by it. No, you seem very
Sean.
threatened by
Sean,
it.
when I have Sean, I'm 47 years of age, right? I could ask Sasha here 100 questions, and I know Sasha won't have the answer. But yes, Sasha will tell me what's what. That's all.
Wait. Again, you did this. You did this yesterday, Pete. Stop saying any of my panelists say they know all, because the only person that acts as if they know all is you.
No, Sasha should be asking questions then, as opposed to giving.
Okay, yes, I came on
Sasha,
today.
let me make this very clear. Sasha is a very intelligent person. He's already shown that he's intelligent. He is just because of his age doesn't mean Sasha needs to sit back and shut the fuck up and listen. That's not how it rolls. That's what you say to him. It's exactly
Sasha,
what you're
would you like to ask me a question, Sasha?
Yes, I came on today to learn more about how the sun works on the flat Earth.
Okay, I can answer you that.
Okay.
All right. When you wake up in the morning, you're gonna see the sun, and you have to write down. You have to draw a circle, and see at what degree, at a 360-degree circle, and see at what degree it appears in the morning. The sun does not rise. It appears, becomes into view from the vanishing point. It reappears. Okay. Thus, we need to use the right proper terms. It's what we were told. We were indoctrinated with different terms. Now, these are the new perimeters. What I see now, that it took me 2 years to find out. Now, when you see it disappearing, when it goes into the vanishing point in the evening, you also write down the degrees where it disappears into the vanishing point. Second, you're going to write down the time when it appears, when it disappears, the degrees, and the third one, the date, the you are, the day of the week, the month, whatever. You have to log that. You do that in a year, and then you're going to realize what the sun is doing. It's not for me to tell you what it is, but I can tell you
I don't
how
know.
to test it and how to make those observations. And those observations make more logical sense than the imaginary spinning ball that it rises,
I
that
don't
it
want to
sets.
know how I can test it. I want to know how it works in your model.
Well,
how does
let me try and explain it.
Look, we don't
Right,
have a model, brother.
This
You
is
need
what
to
I've
understand
Then how
this.
can you try
We
and
have
teach me about
a logical concept. Are you taking logic in school?
What do you mean?
Logic. You could take logic, or you could take math, or you could take physics. And logic is one of the main
going off topic a little
curriculums
bit.
that were taken off in the 70s. So you're not familiar with the term logic, but it has to make first logical sense. If I don't make logical sense, then I must be bullshitting.
Well, explain me this one then. How come when the sun goes out of the viewer perspective, why doesn't it shrink? Why doesn't it get smaller and smaller and smaller until it goes? Then?
Yes,
Instead
it
of
will.
going-
If you live in the desert, if you live in the desert in the Sahara, if you see a sun disappearing into the vanishing point, you will see the little sun going like this.
You will see. You'll see that through. You'll see
disappear in the Sahara.
You'll see that through weather conditions, but when you'll also see it not do that through clear conditions. I've seen two different perspectives.
So it comes back to what the sun is, Freeman, right?
And also, Sasha,
Well,
I could
what is the
take you
sun?
to. Well, this is what's happening. There are times where it never disappears. When you go up to the north, a couple of days ago, we celebrated the midnight sun on June 21st, and we sent a lot of flat earthers to witness this phenomenon because the sun never goes into the vanishing point at the north. Now, it's supposed to do the same thing on December 21st at the other end on the south, but we never seen that.
Oh yes, we do. You can see it on the Antarctic.
No, you can't see that. Have you done that? I done that experiment. I tested myself.
I've seen the footage.
I'm talking to here the children how to do your own observations, and these are key things that, for example, Sigma Octantis. Sigma Octantis is a mythical southern star that they tell you is right in the south. But you then you go to the Antarctica.
No, there is no southern star.
There's no southern star. That's right.
No. We chose a star, which is a southern star, which is slightly to the right or left, which is not in the center. We chose that.
Yeah, it's not on it.
Yeah, it's not on it. And
it's the nearest brightest star, isn't it?
It's the nearest brightest star.
It is the brightest star. They call it 280.5 light years away. All right, and it's just the brightest star. That's
Can I just ask? Do you understand that distance?
Yes, I understand that. This is about brightness, about luminescence.
Yeah. No, I'm just talking about the distance for perspective purposes. If you're on the Earth, you do understand like the stars would look the same as you travel through the universe.
No, when you look, stars are unique to your perspective, just like a rainbow. That's why you don't see stars. When you interview astronauts that went to the moon, they never saw stars.
I've never interviewed an astronaut.
All right. Well, there have been interviews on the record. If you don't see stars from the ISS, you only see stars from here, from Earth.
Yeah. I thought we're not allowed to take other people's word for anything. It has to be all our own
experience. Take the word for anything.
Then why are you saying we have to take astronauts' word?
So
that's what I'm saying. I'm going to tell you about what stars.
How come stars on the internet that all know this, and how come there's no one in a respectable position who's jumping for the Nobel Prize award for discovering that the Earth is flat and we're on.
You're just another parrot, Freeman. Isn't that what you are? Another parrot.
Well, look, discovering
I'm not a parrot. I'm an individual, Pete. And if you want to meet me or see me or interview me, mate, you're more than welcome. Just to disprove this mystery.
Many people show their faces and they're not above board, but all these things are going back.
Drop my mobile number. Do you want?
Hang on, Sasha. No, I don't want any number. Sasha, so you disagree that the stars disappear as you get beyond a certain height. You say there's no way to.
That's not what I said.
Pete, I find it a little. Honestly, I'd get a bit offended. Like you think.
I don't care, man. I don't care.
And if I was a paid skill, I'd be on here every day, and I'd be.
I don't care, man.
No,
All right,
all
well,
I'm trying to say, brothers and
smart guy.
sisters, is that the stars are if you see the stars are because are within the vanishing point. All right, there are not gazillions of light years away, like the North Star. The North Star is supposed to be at 432 light years away, thousands of light years away. No, they're within the vanishing point. They're right here. They're all fixed on the dome, and that's
So
where
you
God
think light
is. And you
doesn't
guys are
travel?
afraid that we have a mother creator above the waters,
Well,
and they can listen to everything you do, everything, and knows you.
Are
You're
you a
not on a
Christian?
spinning ball that you popped out of a chin's butt after a big bang. You have a God that loves you, that
you a
knows
Christian?
you, that
Your
you're under the
brothers and
dome.
sisters. Yeah.
You're a Christian, yeah?
Are you an atheist,
Fucking
Freeman?
weirdo. No,
You
I'm
an
not.
atheist,
No,
Freeman?
I'm not an atheist. No.
You believe there's a creator, right?
I'm an agnostic, but I kind of do
Right.
believe in some sort of spirituality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Intelligent design.
science,
Are you an
science,
atheist, Sasha? Are
science
you an
allows
atheist,
for
Sasha?
science allows for a creator
Science
What do you
does.
believe?
at,
Do you
at,
believe
Well,
in
at the Big
science?
Bang.
Well, I
That-
Well,
believe.
flat Earth
I believe
proves
God
that there's a
God
creator. That's
No,
why
it
you
doesn't
guys are so
prove.
afraid of
is energy.
testing flat Earth. Well, test
doesn't
it.
prove, we
See,
just haven't-
show me that you're courageous and test
The,
it.
cr- the
I'll give you the
creator,
money to test it. Don't give me the shit that you're going into.
Your creator is energy. You
The
are
cr-
energy, and everything is energy.
no,
Simple
in
as that. But we
in
just give
most-
it
Yeah,
a
you have all
mystical
the
name.
answers, free man, don't you? There's no thought behind the energy, right?
in
No direction
most
behind it.
religions,
There
the
could be.
No
creator
conscience
is
behind it.
There could be. I'm not
Sasha,
saying
creator-
you're an
not.
atheist. You're an agnostic as well, Sasha. It could be a god,
No.
but we can't prove it by science, right? So you believe in science. So science is your god.
no.
No, see,
Right.
Pete, you're putting words in other people's mouths.
No, but that was a question.
Pete's good at that.
But hang on, that was sort of a question, a leading question. So Sasha's supposed to respond now.
That was
It was the
not a
leading
question.
question. It was a
It was a
formal
loaded
question.
No,
I read
question.
the intonation.
Why don't you ask Sasha what he believes instead of telling him what he believes? Pete?
Do you understand that was a form of a question? So
Well, ask it properly then, Pete.
okay, that was misinterpreted. Then I apologize, Sasha. That's the way I would formulate a question. You probably missed the intonation. Are these things true then that I said?
No.
Okay. Thank
There
you.
you go.
So you believe in God. You believe in a creator. Then. You hold to a creator.
Hey,
Can-
Sean,
can- can I talk?
like Sasha.
Yeah, I'd like to hear your answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to hear your
So,
answer. Sasha.
okay, so creator is most often used to hold the place of where we don't understand any other explanation for how that could have happened. For example, the Big Bang, we don't understand what caused it or what came before it. We're trying to look for that. But as of now, since we don't understand it, it's seen as the place where the creator could have been.
So you say we, you mean me and you, right?
So a creator is often used as a placeholder for stuff we don't understand.
Yeah, but no, when you say we don't understand there, you mean me and you, right?
No.
As
Well,
a
it's
human
usually
race.
when you say we, that's more grammar. When you
I said
when you
I
say
said
we,
the
it's
majority
generally
of the
people who
human
are
race.
conversant. Right.
I'll tell you what, brother. When you talk about religion, religion has nothing to do with God. All right.
Right.
You're already a
Creepy
creator.
boys.
The religions that we talk about, Muslims, it was created by the Vatican. The whole thing is a manipulation to separate us. All right, we're all brothers and sisters
the
living as a
fuck
family.
are you smoking?
Earth, picture
You're
this:
right, bro.
Earth is like a dance floor.
Hold on a
with
minute, go
with
back
the
a
disco
minute.
ball in
Islam
the
was
center.
created by the
My
Shut your mouth,
opinion.
free
And
man.
we
Leave
all
it
brothers
finish.
and sisters
Sorry.
under the dome firmament, and it's a dance floor. We should dance in celebration. That there's no countries to separate us, no borders, and test the glove. Have the courage to test the glove. Don't let the indoctrination fill your mind. Empty your vessel, empty the cup. It's been full of glove diarrhea. Empty it and
contradicted
test
yourself,
the
mate.
test.
Right.
That's
And
all
they're
I'm
very,
asking
very
you to
wise
do.
words. Francis here.
Right. So let's just
Wise
if-
words
if-
from an
if-
idiot.
If we all conjoin as one and unite under one, isn't it written in the Bible? God destroyed that and separated everybody. And
Don't bring artificial religion into it. He just
how come
told
all
you,
these
Freeman,
flat
not to bring
earthers
artificial
keep
religion into
flat
it.
gurgitating their same stuff? They don't have anything.
Yeah, here
new.
comes vitriolic Larry in to quash everything. Larry knows.
Shut up, Pete.
Flat gurgitators
Which high school
regurgitate the
asked you
same
to
thing
talk
over and
in
over
their
again and say
auditorium,
it's
Pete?
proof and it's nothing.
Pete, which high school in Ireland asked you to come over and talk in front of the students? Which high school? Does any of them ask you to come over and chat about your wisdom?
Hogwarts.
What do you mean by that question? Where did that question come out of?
Pete, which high school in Ireland asked you to come over and talk about science
I don't know
and
what-
flat Earth and so forth?
I know this world is corrupt from top to bottom, man.
He's playing
And
your
I
game.
put myself
that
in a
wasn't what I
position-
asked.
If I
That
put myself in a position,
Pete, that wasn't what I asked. Pete, that wasn't what I asked. Pete, that wasn't what I asked. I asked which high school is asking you to come over and talk about your philosophy of life.
Okay,
None.
well,
I have several high schools that wanted
no
me
high
to talk
school
to.
there.
Belmont
No
High
high
School in
That's why
LA.
not. No high school does.
So which high school is asking you, Larry?
Oh, lots of them.
Oh, really?
Really?
Okay, so that's something
I've been
for you.
published.
That's
Have you been
important.
published, Pete? Have you been published
Have I been in terms of what?
in regards to your knowledge being in the press or in the media or whatever? Has anybody ever published your shit besides YouTube?
I've never looked to have anything published.
That's what I figured. Nothing.
So who are you, Larry? Who are you, Larry?
More than you.
Well, are you a big man, Larry? Are you an honest man, Larry?
More honest than you, Pete.
If you were in court, Larry, would you put your hand on the Bible and swear?
Obviously, Larry's a very important person. Otherwise, he wouldn't be here on some bullshit flat Earth globe fucking argument channel on YouTube.
And Maxwell, he was here 3 or 4
What's
years
problem,
ago.
Maxwell?
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. He's explaining things that are being incorrectly explained by flat Earth.
I'm gonna head out because I'm not gaining anything from this conversation.
All right, Sasha,
Well-
I'll talk to you later.
Go do your own test, buddy. Have the courage to test the glove.
Take care, Sasha.
Be smarter. You don't need to be a globe tart.
Keep following that path,
Here's
man.
the thing. Here's the thing.
Sean G, I don't know why you brought that youngster in
Okay,
here.
I'll tell you right now.
Really.
I'm going to make it very clear right now. Sasha is smarter than half the people on this panel. That's why. Second of all, Second of all,
Totally.
when he's here, I will make sure that everyone is respectful into his ears in the fact that he is here. I don't care. Earth, I appreciate the shit out of you adjusting how you usually talk because he was here. Thank you.
You're welcome, man. I have high respect for the children.
So Sasha left saying that I'm leaving here because I'm not getting anything out of this.
Yeah, because he wasn't getting answers. He was getting your bullshit.
He's just getting the same old shit.
So hang on. When do children who come in with a know-it-all attitude deserve
Why are you
more
so
respect and
demeaning to
regard
I don't
than
think that's
adults?
I know
Why are
all
you
I-
so
did not
demeaning?
have-
General
people,
question.
Pete?
He did not have a know-it-all
Now,
attitude.
Sean, if you brought your young son in here, right, and on camera, and was talking about something,
Pete
I'm
is
absolutely polite and
full of shit.
who's this Larry character,
It is
Sean?
pretty tough to have to admit you just got your
So,
ass
so
kicked by a
we're in a
kid, isn't
debate
it, Pete?
forum here, right?
Damn.
And
That's what it is.
we're in a debate
Hang
forum,
on,
and I'm defending.
Hang on, Pete.
This is
Pete,
all
hang
about
on.
truth here.
Hang on. Here's the reality of it. Blue, can you say that again?
I said it is pretty tough to have to admit you just got your ass kicked by a kid, isn't it, Pete?
Exactly.
Well,
Pete's got his
okay,
ass
because
kicked
you're
by a
haughtiness.
14-year-old.
I don't like to do this. But because you're haughtiness, bring Sasha on for half an hour. We'll do it, Sean. An hour if you want, and I will talk most politely with Sasha. And by the end of it, I will show you.
I wouldn't wish that on
and Sasha
anyone.
himself
Okay.
exactly how much he knows.
I'll set
How
it
about
up.
Yeah.
I'll set it up.
Pete
Nice one.
against a 14-year-old. That'd be
I'll set-
great.
that? Yeah, no, I'll go on camera and I'll be as
Pete,
polite as you like.
I
I
just want
always
you to
am.
understand something, man. You don't understand.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now. There is a band of motherfucking kids on Discord that are smarter than most of the people out here. You need to understand
Right.
it. It's there.
That's
Put it
fine.
this
They're
way.
well read,
There's a
Sean.
guy. There's a
What they
guy.
don't
He's 17 years old, and when I first started trying to figure out and learn particle physics for myself, he gave me a good hour-long teaching on about particle physics. There are a breed of people out there that are geniuses, and you don't realize it, Pete. Just because that kid Sasha was younger don't think just because you're older, you have better
I don't think
information.
so for 1 second, Sean. It's the haughty attitude that I object to. Now, there's one thing about reading and having a certain intelligence. If you don't have an experience,
Pete has no idea what he's talking
context.
about.
This fucking Larry guy keeps interrupting me.
No,
and sort of
Pete,
Oh, thank God I do. Thank God I do.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
so
Pete,
I was just finding
interrupting him.
no, Pete. What you're saying?
life experience and a little wisdom garnered from our living, right?
Yeah,
as well,
but here's
that we
the
can add
thing.
to everything. And
Here's
if someone
what
is
you're
honest,
saying,
let me just
Pete,
finish
no,
by
but
saying
Pete-
this, Sean. If someone is not honest, I don't care how young or how old they are, the dodo
Like
here will
Pete,
find them out.
Pete's not
Okay.
honest.
That's all.
It doesn't matter how
No.
old
What
or
you're
how
saying-
young he is.
Yeah,
The dodo here will find them
Pete,
out.
what you're saying is because you're older than Sasha, there's no way he could know anything more than you.
No.
The problem
That's not what I'm
is
saying.
That's true. That's
that
true.
is what you're
It's
saying.
true.
Because you don't say
It doesn't
any of
matter
this
how
about
clever-
us. You don't say any of this about anybody that's on the panel now, but you said it about Sasha because he was so young.
No,
And
because
and Sean, that's the reason I jumped on,
Can I
because
respond,
Pete
please?
is
If you were-
demeaning,
we were in a conversation here,
demeaning.
right?
Shut up, Pete.
So, Sean, you asked, you
Pete,
said
Pete, shut up.
your question to me. Let me
Pete,
respond.
I'm trying to talk.
So,
Shut
I
up,
don't care
Pete.
if you were trying to talk. He was
Yeah,
talking
Shut
to
up,
me.
Pete. Larry, go ahead.
I'm saying I jumped on here because the way Pete was being demeaning and looking down on her constantly, just
To
because
him.
of her age,
To him.
his age, big deal.
Mm.
Pete, you should take it as everybody being the same age and not worrying if you're older or younger than that other individual. You should keep it
Listen,
on a level field.
Right. Okay, fair enough. I never met this character, Sasha, before. They came in here, as far as I'm concerned. First of all, younger than 18. You shouldn't be in these formats.
Why?
Younger than 18.
Bullshit.
Why not?
You're still looking.
Language here. An adult won't feel-
You're
hang on,
still
please.
Well, then you
looking
can
Hang on,
down
tell
hang
on
on,
her.
don't
please.
you?
We know it gets
Pete,
testy.
shut
We know it
up.
gets testy.
Pete,
know-
shut up.
Sean, can you?
You're still looking down on her. You
It's
just
a
said
him.
it again.
Not
You're
a
looking
word.
down on her.
Larry, it's a him.
Him.
Still a
Larry,
kid.
Sean, will you fucking take control of this Larry character? I can't get a sentence out. Will you
No,
interrupt
I
me?
actually no, Pete. You're over talking him, but everything Larry has said, I agree with.
Right.
You,
So-
I don't
Same
care. Hey, Larry, there are people, or not Larry, Pete. There are people in the chat that are saying the same thing. You're acting different than you normally act, and it's because
Pete, are you the
Sasha
shit?
came in here and I'm sorry, ran circles around your answers or your questions and
How did-
answers.
Yep.
Sean, explain now exactly how. Go.
By
You're on
everything
the- you're on the hot chair.
everything you asked, he answered.
Go.
Everything,
Give me a specific
everything
example.
that you
Go.
tried to catch him on, he caught it himself.
Give me
and
a
said, "Whoa."
specific example, Sean
No,
G.
you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't.
Give me a
The whole
specific
conversation.
example, Sean
Nah.
G.
No, I don't need to.
Everything.
It happened though.
This is what you're dealing with, and you're not allowed to develop
Pete,
a conversation at all.
you're constantly
So
talking
let me
down
just
towards
clear it up, and I'll
Sasha.
go on mute then. Sean, let me just clear this up. for
Pete,
a
how
second.
come you
I
give a
never-
shit? Why do you care so
never
much
spoke-
about what the hell other people think?
All right, exactly.
Yeah.
I never spoke to Sasha before,
So
right? So, first of all, I was just surprised to find out that it was a minor, if you will. I didn't know you knew. I don't know anything about her, right? Don't know anything
Why
about
do
her.
you keep talking about her age for?
Now I'm trying to hear.
Hey,
hang on,
hey,
please.
guys,
Now
Sasha is a boy.
Is a
right.
boy,
Now
yes.
I'm trying to get a grasp on Sasha's point of view, right? As a boy, as a teenager. So I'm trying to find out what he might know. Now he's coming on here with these know-it-all attitude, right? And he doesn't know what I know.
Why do you keep saying
He doesn't know what I
that?
know.
He did not. Why do you keep
You
saying
feel,
that?
you feel
most-
threatened by him.
Yeah, you're really feeling threatened
no.
right now, Pete.
Let me say something about
Pete is
Sasha.
correct.
An
I think,
opportunity to express, get to know one another's point of view.
hey brother,
That's
but
all.
let me say, we learned something about Sasha. It was so amazing. I get to learn that these guys kids are getting involved in adult conversations. They're building some balls to be able to come and explain their points. He's obviously cannot make any sense of a flat earth. Remember, when we look into flat earth, it didn't make any sense of me. My wife wanted to divorce me. I mean, you enter into chaos. Yeah, you hold, you don't know what the hell's going on. You start doing your own testing. You take your wife to go see the midnight sun. You take your wife to go see Salton sea tests, and now she wanted to renew my vows to do another 10 years.
Right. So what? Hang on,
And
please.
so now my wife is the biggest skeptical. So when you start sharing how you tested, you don't just argue. You become very prudent. Definitely, she's very smart. Yeah, she was not just gonna
put that silly voice on for her as well.
She was not just gonna be a flat art, be called a flat art because of no evidence. She was willing to face the devil one on one that she knows that is not a spinning ball.
Earth,
Are you
Earth
ready
is seriously
to?
flat. Hang on a second, please. Earth
Yes.
is seriously flat. You nearly lost everything because of this. I have lost a lot of stuff. Many ballers here have lost anything. I guarantee you've lost fuck all.
Well,
guarantee you've lost fuck all.
Well, I'm
divorced.
How I sacrificed?
Yeah, I lost 99.
I was homeless for 2 years.
I was a flat
I lost
earther,
my
Pete.
fiance.
I had to buy 99 cents worth of equipment to prove that the glove is not flat, which I did.
You proved nothing, Schrodinger. The next time you speak, you make an absolute fool of you. Next time we speak, Cliff.
But did you notice that all these glove lovers?
It wasn't Carlos. It was Cliff that did it.
Told you.
All I see is all these globers that are losing the flat earth war. This flat earth truth, you guys are losing it because now that we got that behind the curve bullshit, it gives you a little fuel to argue about the spinning ball. But keep in mind that Behind the Curve mockumentary was just a mockumentary done by the same perpetrators of Sandy Hook.
From?
So keep in mind that I understand that you sore losers, you lost your spinning ball. We tested it, we proved it. There's no spinning ball, and that's why you faked the moon landings.
Off the ground.
We all agree here that we faked the moon landings, right? We all agree.
We don't agree with that. We don't agree with that.
Ask Sasha. I'll be asking Sasha that next
We
time.
landed on the moon.
What's his view on the moon landing?
That's just bullshit.
Yeah, even poor Tasha thinks we could see the curvature from an aeroplane. How come you guys didn't help him to educate him?
Have you ever been on
You could have made him.
Pretty good job on a merry-go-round.
You could have defended him and help him. You don't see curvature. Make him a better.
You didn't need to help him. He's smart enough. He's smarter than you.
You can see
smart than you, buggers.
From
Are you just singing Sasha's praises because he's on your side, Freeman?
No, he's smart. You see, I'm not biased, Pete. There's not a mystery behind everything, mate.
You couldn't agree with everything he was saying.
Hang on, you agreed that Sasha was wrong. You can't see curvature from an airplane window.
I did agree that was wrong. Yes, I don't believe.
So why was it for me to put
out? You didn't help him correct that.
Listen to this.
I was trying
to. Listen, you can see curvature. Listen, you can see curvature from a few hundred feet up with a drone. How do I know? Because B-Ball did it, and I showed it. You guys want to see it?
Yes, with the fisheye lens, right?
Nope.
You can see curvature from not too far
with
high.
Fisheye lenses, sure. With the fisheye lens.
If you interrupt me, put my word in it. No, listen to what I'm saying, man. Right? You can take measurements from distances and height, and you can see if it was on a flat plane, you wouldn't have the same measurements from high objects.
So how high can you see curvature then, Freeman?
Well, this is what I'm trying to say. You can't. I don't know the exact number, but what I'm saying is, if you use the objects on the Earth as measurements, you can measure the curve.
Yep.
If you
hang on. We're talking about seeing the curve. You was a bit slow, man. What's wrong with you?
Well, I just explained to you that I was on about that. Okay, then, Pete. If you're talking like it has to be at least 250,000 feet, I'd say,
right,
to see a curve.
Sasha, come on here, a teenager.
Sorry, to see a curve that would please someone like you.
Okay, Sasha, come on, a teenager here telling me there's no curve from 40,000 feet.
Yes, and
you can see the curve from 40,000 feet.
Excuse me, I have to correct him on that. But
that's what computer animation is for, so people are satisfied.
That's her opinion.
You have to go 250,000 people for people like me, right, Freeman? What about for normal people then, or normal flat earthers, or normal ballers?
What I'm saying is, if
no flat earther is normal.
Everyone's different, Pete, and I don't know what your extent of evidence is. So
what height would anyone have to go? The standard person have to go before they visually see curvature?
Well, we know at 120,000 feet, it's not noticeable. So I'd say at least double that, just to give you.
No, you can actually see the curve from 40,000 feet.
Yeah, but not enough to please them, obviously.
No, you have to be in the cockpit. You have to have a wide enough field.
Why the fuck do anybody care what shape the Earth is, anyways? I don't get it. I'm trying to understand this argument.
We'll go back to school.
I can explain you that real quick. Why does it matter,
Who gives a fuck?
I tell you why who gives a fuck. I tell you why.
Who gives a fuck?
Because what happened is children like Sasha, they're gonna blindly sign up for Donald Trump's Space Force, and they're not going deep space, man. They're
Who
going
gives a
deep
shit?
frying.
Are they?
Well, they're
Is
going
it
deep
affecting
frying
you?
to make
Is it
chicken
affecting
nuggets out
you
of
in
them
any way?
and
Is it
feed
affecting
all the
you? What
globes
Sasha does?
around our beautiful
No, it's
stationary
not. It's
flat
not
Earth. That's
affecting
what's gonna
him.
happen. Poor kids like that, they're gonna blindly enlist on a program that doesn't exist, and they're gonna make chicken nuggets out of them. You don't care about that?
What the fuck?
Oh, fuck off. I mean, really, just fuck off.
Maxwell, you don't care about the lives of children like Sasha here. Would you like them to be growing up in a world of truth and beauty and wonder, or else lie and deception?
Education, Maxwell,
Yeah,
education.
not your truth, Pete.
No, but that's
Korea is not education, brother.
question here as well. If you have children of your own, Maxwell, what situation would you bring them in?
Utopia is translated is to nowhere. It doesn't exist. There's no such thing as a perfect
We're
world.
on the road.
Exactly. The so-called evil and good is a balanced system anyways, so it's never
Exactly.
going to freaking translate to one side completely.
Are you
So
ready
how
to
do you know
face
that,
the devil
Maxwell?
one-on-one?
How do you know that? If you limit your inquiry, right?
Because
how
it
are you
wouldn't
going to
work,
grasp
Pete,
any
and you
full-
damn well should know
Get
that if
anything
it's
out
not
of
a
that?
balanced
My
system,
question
then
was,
it
how are you
won't
going to
work.
get a grasp on any possible, right? How are you going to get a grasp on any possible greater story or significance, Maxwell?
Pete, you should freaking know this. You're the freaking philosophy freaking guru that spews all this philosophical crap.
He's the
Well,
expert.
you know my answer, Maxwell. My answer to what you asked then is right. The bigger question should be, what is the Earth, as opposed to the shape of the Earth? The Earth
Who
is
cares?
flat. Like, hang on, the Earth is flat like a
It's a tree.
The Earth is flat like a tree stump is flat, only in one
It's
particular.
a tree stump. Of course it
But if you
is.
say who cares, right? Well, what questions are you? What's life about then, Maxwell? Who cares about anything? Why should we care about anything? What should we strive for?
Life is what you make it. And sitting
what do
here
you make
arguing
it?
about
What
something
makes
that's
us
pretty
then?
pointless.
You're doing the making, right? So what does that make you? Where do you think you came from?
I'm here trying to understand why people are arguing about such a silly thing.
But why are you here then? Why are you even bothering?
I just told you.
But why
I'm
are you
here for
bothering?
me.
Go
I'm
somewhere
here to
else. You
gain
just-
knowledge. I'm here to gain as much knowledge as possible.
Right.
Amen
So
to
you
that.
don't seem like that then. That's not the way you're coming across, man.
Can I show
You
guys
don't
real
want to know Pete's
Science is at war right now, and
look,
people think that we're attacking
guys.
science, that we're anti-vaxxers.
I'm watching,
guys,
Sean.
Okay.
Go for it.
Thank you, Dean. Thank you.
Yeah, we're
I'm
watching.
going to be
Now,
critical, though, Sean.
I hope so.
You've
Is
all
that in
questioned
4K?
that.
So I want you to
And there's no
understand something.
question
This
there.
this is an image from B-Ball. His drone. His drone is maybe 500-600 feet up. Maybe. You can see curvature from here as well. Now it is so minute that you're not going to see it with the naked eye, but when you put a line on it, back out real quick. Where's my line? I'll go and put a line on it right now anyway then.
Oh, yeah, put a line on it, mate.
Well, there was a line and it disappeared.
Oh no.
After you do the line, Sean, imagine the Earth was flat. Get a big hula hoop, as big as you like, and draw it around.
What?
The fuck
What?
on your
Get a big
hula
hula
hoop?
hoop and place it
What the
into
fuck do you
the
want a hula hoop
underwater,
for?
and we'll let's see a little bit of curvature.
Now,
Is it
that
cheese and
line-
onion or salt and vinegar?
Look, you see that line? See what's that's why I did it. Yeah, I suck at this. Dean, this is your job and you suck at it not doing it, so thanks, your fault.
It's an apparent horizon you're picking out as well.
Not an
Excuse me?
amazing
Yeah, but
example, I
Dean's
must
not
say.
100%.
But you can see
Yeah, no.
you can see
But
Earth
wait a minute,
above that
Sean,
line.
you're doing such a good job of this, Sean. I'm thinking the Earth is flat now.
Yeah, you're pulling a Nathan Oakley.
You guys are fucking
That's
assholes.
low.
Massive hula hoop line underwater. You
Like
have
I
there,
said-
Sean.
Dean, that was low.
Like I said, there is Earth. There is Earth
Yeah,
above that line.
This is planet Earth.
that's an apparent line, Sean.
Oh, it's a parent line now.
That's all. That's all. That's many, many miles into the distance.
I don't know.
and
Looks
then-
pretty real to me.
Well, it's not the horizon line
Why?
because you're looking many, many miles into the distance, and as I say, okay, there's music playing, but
I'm loving the
yeah,
music.
you're looking into the distance. The dimensions of the photograph here into the distance.
Quick, give
okay.
him time to make some shit up.
No, you're moving around on the screen here. You're moving around on the screen, right?
Yeah, I moved along that whole line.
And it was flat all the way. Okay, I don't know what you were proving there.
No, the line
That
was
whole
flat.
line itself is not a fixed line.
The line was flat, but
That's
there was an
all.
Earth above that line, which means it was not flat.
I don't know if you looked close enough. If you saw that line, there was Johnny Cash, and he was walking the line.
Yes, he was.
This is all a joke to you, right?
Now, Dean, you seem to have some cool new models you wanted to show.
It's not all a joke, just that picture was, because it wasn't a very good example.
No, Freeman, really, it is all a fucking joke. It's just a joke.
Well, that's what I'm going with. Yeah. I thought
You're all in
it's all a joke.
or other, and whatever that is, whatever binds you. All I can do is point out the deception, the flaws. I don't care how old you are or how young you are.
Then why don't you jump at
people?
How come you don't?
Question.
You never jumped. You've never jumped at.
He doesn't care how old you are or how young
Pete,
you
but
are.
no.
But he gives Sasha hell.
You have never.
I'll tell you what, though, 3 glasses of wine helps.
Guys, you have never jumped at anyone like you did Sasha today. That was
This is true.
It was odd, dude. Like everyone noticed it. We were like, "What the hell's happening?" Oh, Sasha's running over him.
If Sasha was a flat earther, hang on, Sean. For the sake of balance, bring in a 15-year-old well-spoken person from Discord who speaks on the flat Earth side.
I can because there was one who thought it was flat for a minute and then switched his mind, and it all was in like a month.
Bring in a genuine flat earther.
There's no such thing as a genuine flat earther.
See, here we go. Well, the Earth isn't flat.
There is
it doesn't matter.
That's not true.
Well, you're not a flat earther.
I was a genuine flat earther.
There you
go.
go.
Back to what the Earth is, though.
Do y'all know Young Blue Skeptic?
And that's where Maxwell thinks he knows what the Earth is, maybe. Or if he doesn't want to know about that, all he's satisfied is with his current state of mind and understanding.
Hang on,
I think we're wasting time personally on the flat Earth, and we should be researching better stuff like, what's inside of an atom and what's make up universe and what's.
All right. What do you know about 9/11, man? What do you know about 9/11? What do you know about media fake news?
You don't know shit. We're not talking
I know
about
quite
it.
a lot about
What does 9/11 have to do with
We're not talking about it.
None of these. Look at the way it causes consternation just by mentioning possible.
What about Ruby Ridge in Waco, Texas? What about those, Pete?
Exact same. Waco, Texas, more stagecraft.
Pete, I don't know what your intention was when your answer to what I said was that, but what about 9/11?
Let's go exploring atoms, right? Getting into the world of fantastical. Whereas I want to find out where you stand on real matters in terms of reality.
Well, obviously it's a weird experience. There's got to be some explanation.
And also a way to design. And Pete, all you've done is diverge from the shape to matters that have nothing to do with the shape.
Sean, 9/11 was intimately connected with flat Earth. We had the first snow plane or plane argument.
That's not true.
It's all connected, bud.
Nope, not even true.
Symbolically connected. It is. 9/11.
No,
Sandy Hook was about the sun. Look up the sun and 9/11.
Connected at all.
Look up Sirius and 9/11. The star Sirius.
Hey, here's a question for you, Pete. Isn't it kind of a little ironic that ISIS was an Egyptian god, but yet now it's all of a sudden this terrorist group?
No, it's not ironic. It's all part of the script. And if we think about the most prominent thing we were arguing about,
for someone with the issue with people with someone with an issue with people who act as if they know it all, you seem to know it all.
He derails every conversation he comes into.
No. If you come, Sean, you know I'm a flat earther for fucking years and years. So if someone comes along and starts going, well, I know everything. I've seen all models.
I've asked this question before.
Sean,
Who on my panel? Who on my panel who said they know it all? I will boot them this second. Name one.
Right.
Whoa.
You said that last time.
Sean, please allow me to answer just fully. I'll try and put my fucking responses down to 15 seconds or something. What I said there was, you know how long I've been in this arena? And Sasha came in. She said he's looked into all of the flat Earth models. He has considered them all. None of them work. They're globe earther. Now, I object to that, knowing how long I'm in this arena asking all these questions.
He didn't
But
say
you
all.
also know that hang on, please. You also know, Sean, I'm talking to particularly here. I have a very different take on
15
the
seconds are
Earth
up.
itself.
Yeah, Pete.
And a lot of other people. My own personal take.
Pete, for one, he never said all flat Earth models, and he didn't say he knew all.
Right.
No.
Said he's looked at both.
We didn't.
Right. He's looked at both. He's ruled the flat Earth model doesn't work. Right.
Pete, nothing about the flat Earth model works.
That's the problem with it.
All right,
That's why I'm pissed off with it.
And you're everywhere. You're everywhere doing your best.
Says the religious zealot that comes in and preaches constantly. Get a job, Jesus.
Get on camera, fat boy.
Why the fuck should he get on camera?
How old are you? Come on.
If he's not on camera, how are you calling
He's 47 going on 8.
Pete, you are amusing to me now. You really
I don't think Farmer's Boy would be interested in a fat boy. I see Dean as like a
Sean,
100 pounds,
are you going down that
10.
road?
Okay, I'm sorry, Dean.
Are you
I'm sorry.
really
I'm
going
sorry,
down that
Farmers.
road?
I'm sorry, Farmers. I'm sorry.
I used to be a happily married man. Till she fucking divorced me, but there you go. Shit happens.
Pete, it's quite telling when you have to devolve to personal insults. It shows you strength of your argument, and I'm really sorry that is just fact.
Pete.
Not really.
Today is a special day.
Look on the bright
Pete,
side,
just
mate.
realize that a
Every
14-year-old handed you your own ass.
So what's the protocol, Sean, when you know that you're dealing with organized liars and deceivers? What's the protocol?
Organized liars.
Yeah, show us some.
Where'd you get the hell you get
I
that?
can show you some.
Yeah.
Nathan,
false.
Bro
It's false
Sanchez, Darth.
How would you do in real life,
journalism.
Sean? Would you catch someone in a headlock if they kept lying to you and you knew they were lying? What would you do like?
No, that's not good. That's not a reason for physical attack.
Pete?
So you're suggesting that we should
You're
resort
so
to
brave,
violence?
Larry. Will you go on camera, Larry? You won't, will you? You're all tough behind screens.
Pete, what would it take you to prove that we're not shills, or I'm not a shill?
Whereas, like, I would rather get back to what Maxwell was talking about last night when he had an argument with Cliff. By the way, Cliff should apologize because he brought in something different to the equation, which ended the conversation.
Actually, let me fix that. Let me rephrase that. They actually had a very respectful conversation about about how they misinterpreted what was been said. You may have missed that, Pete, but they ended up being cool at the end of their conversation.
I heard that, but it didn't end quite so well as well. The matter wasn't resolved.
It did end well.
It was fully resolved.
Wait. How about this? Look. Cliff says it ended well. Maxwell, the conversation with you and Cliff about the miles and stuff, you guys resolved that, right?
Good.
I assumed that.
Yeah, it was a
My
misunderstanding.
assumption was that he was assuming that I was using nautical miles when, in fact, I was using standard miles. So, it was resolved.
Yeah, sorry, Pete.
That's what I thought. It was all resolved.
Well, exactly.
Pete was trying to do was take this conversation away from Pete and back to someone else.
I said that I would rather get back to the point that Maxwell was making originally before being diverted by Cliff.
To answer your question, I mean, there's nothing to talk about that because after looking into that a little bit more, I've come to my own conclusion that you can't determine the exact diameter of the sun, and you can't determine the exact speed of the rotation of the Earth because it's constantly changing.
Hogwash.
Right.
Hogwash.
If you say that, so you don't hold then that the sun is in the ballpark. What is it?
Who said
864,000
million miles away.
That's not hogwash.
Hogwash.
You don't tell me why it's hogwash.
Because tell me which university is preaching otherwise.
Basic science tells you that that's true.
Hogwash.
Okay. So you're telling me that the speed.
So you said you taught school. So what did you teach?
I never said I taught school. What are you talking about?
Be careful.
That means that every school, every science school in the nation is teaching 865,000 miles in diameter for the sun and 93 million miles from the Earth to the sun.
There's your misconception right there. You're incorrect in your determination of the diameter of the sun.
Bullshit.
Bull. Look it up. That's not 860,000. It's 860,564.
I
so
taught it.
You're leaving out key facts of the diameter.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you are.
I'm not. How am I?
You're not telling me the exact diameter of the sun.
865,000 miles in diameter.
Oh, now it's 865. You just told me it was 860.
I did
so
not.
which is it?
You misheard it. I can't help it if you can't
See,
hear.
that's my point. People come on here and say that they know all, but they actually don't know
anything, Maxwell. You're disagreeing with something with no background to disagree about it.
Basic science tells you.
Basic science does not teach what you're saying.
Oh, really? So, okay, tell me how you measure the diameter of the sun. I know how. So
Go ahead,
you tell me how.
No,
you tell me.
Tell me.
You're the teacher.
You're the idiot, so go ahead and tell me.
Exactly. I want to hear Larry. Anyone else vote for Larry?
Yeah, exactly. Larry, you're so smart. You tell me. You're the teacher. You tell me.
Oh, Larry.
Shut up, Pete.
Yeah, shut up, Pete.
Come on. Don't give yourself time to look it up, Larry.
I'm not. Pete, which high school is asking you to give talk?
Tell us the answer to the question.
I'm going to share something.
With three basic things, a ruler, a piece of cardboard, and a piece of tinfoil, and a freaking pin, tell me how you measure the diameter of the sun.
Trig.
He's not triggered.
Trigonometry, dummy.
Yeah, that was a joke.
So your answer to me is you don't know.
No, I didn't say that. How do you measure the distance between the Earth and the sun?
Triggered. Trigonometry.
And by the way, Maxwell, I don't believe you can do that by the method you use.
Larry's
probably on my side.
Oh, that's exactly my point. If he's the teacher and that's what they teach in school, then tell me how that's an exact science.
Tell me how you came up with a different perception of what is being taught at school.
Because I've looked it up and read several websites, and that's all they post.
Give me links then.
Tell us the answer then, Larry.
Now you're gonna pull this crap
up, you
now you're gonna pull this crap that Sleeping Warrior pulls. I want citations. I want links. I want proof. Look it up yourself. I'm not gonna sit here and look this shit up fucking 10 times for everybody else.
I'm sorry. This is a good one.
I'm going to show something right now.
That was an evil laugh, Sean. That was an evil laugh.
I'll present you right now, Larry. You're presenting.
I told you to look it up, Sean. He can't act off his own back. He doesn't fucking know
Sean,
how they got.
You're a bad man.
Can you all see this?
Yeah.
That's why I wouldn't be a teacher. Anyone could be a fucking clone.
You're not
yet.
Shut up, Pete.
You're not sharing.
Hold on a minute. Hang on a minute.
Yeah.
There you go,
right about some things anyway.
Oh, Pete, put a sock in it for fuck's sake.
No critical mind. Hang on. When it comes to finding
out let Earth seriously flag get away with saying that you can't see stars from space when we have so many
we can see it there.
interviews that say
Thank you.
There we go.
Now,
Right,
I would like everybody to be quiet a second.
Yes, please.
Yep,
Just
no
for a
worries.
minute. All right. Everybody familiar with Stellarium, right?
Sure.
All right. Now I've got two lines green lines for a couple of things that's shown into Stellarium. If you haven't got it, download it, see for yourself. You got one here that shows the date, year 2000. This is for Polaris. I'm trying to show Polaris here. This is the coordinates of Polaris in the year 2000. Now, if you look at the second line, it says J 2019.5. You'll notice that the coordinates are different from the year 2000. Why is that?
Because it's moved.
Yeah, stars move. So what's going on? Why did Polaris move from that location in the year 2000 to a different set of coordinates in the year 2019?
Because the sun's orbiting the galaxy.
It's because the Earth's axis is precessing.
It's the precession of the equinox.
What, over 19 years?
Yes, it
Over
wobbles.
19 years, it moved
Surely
from
it needs
31
longer
minutes
than
to
that.
56.
See, now we're getting somewhere. Now we're getting somewhere. Okay.
Now, what if the source of Polaris is earthbound?
Okay, so
Can I talk?
back to the original argument
Maxwell, can I
of
finish?
this whole.
I haven't finished the presentation.
I know you haven't finished. I'm going
Then
to add
shut up.
something to your conception. Okay, is that
Shut
okay?
up. No, can I finish?
Do you know who Georgia Sagnac is?
Hang on. Hey, Max.
If
let
you're
him
a
finish.
school teacher, you should.
Maxwell, shut up.
Let him finish. Max.
Let
him
Larry finish.
Shut up, Maxwell.
Oh, why? Because I'm going to disprove everything that he tries to say from here on out.
Because you have no idea what they're about. Neither do we. Let's hear it.
Maxwell, I'll give you the opportunity when he's done to speak, and
Yeah,
no
let
one
him
else speak
finish
over you.
and tear him apart.
Again, this is Stellarium. Who does not agree that Stellarium doesn't work properly? No one.
I do.
Stellarium's awesome.
I do.
So,
You should let
again, let me finish.
The Google Earth
shut
gave
up. Pete, shut up.
You asked the question, Larry. Don't tell
Let
me to
him
shut up.
finish. I'll
Piece
tell you
of
to shut
shit.
up. Go ahead, Larry.
Again, if you look at the year 2000, this is the coordinates of Polaris. 2 hours, 31 minutes, plus 89 degrees, 15 minutes declination. If you go to the year 2019, and this is for June 2019, it's 2 hours, 56 minutes, and the declination is 89 degrees, 20 minutes. This is how much Polaris has moved in 19 and a half years.
In relative to what?
I want to finish. And this is the only reason this happens is because the Earth is rotating. And when you have rotation with the Earth, you got the axis precessing like a spinning top. And that's why every star in the sky changes constantly. The coordinates of every star in the sky change is because of precession.
What was my original argument? What did I say? I didn't say the Earth wasn't
because
spinning.
You babble.
I didn't babble. I didn't
Yes, you
babble. I didn't say the Earth wasn't spinning. I didn't say the Earth wasn't rotating.
You said everything taught on basic elementary science was not true.
No, I did not say that.
Well, then rewind the tape.
You did, Maxwell.
What I did say was that you cannot get a precise diameter of the sun, and you cannot get a precise rotational speed around of the Earth because speed is relative and it changes.
Well, yeah. Well,
so
yeah,
how fast?
And if you know who, hey, shut up now. Now let me talk. I'm going to talk like you. Shut up. Shut up. You shut up. I'm going to talk like you. I'm going to be like you. You shut up. Just shut up.
Let me make this clear. I am the only one who tells anyone to shut up here. Maxwell.
And me, Sean. And me.
You may now.
No, not you.
I hope you have your evidence for it. But go ahead and unmute yourself, Maxwell. Lightly explain how he is wrong if you think he is wrong. You have to unmute yourself, Max.
What hurt? No, he's good. Maxwell's good.
Nothing he said did I say that he said was wrong. I didn't say he was wrong. Nothing he said proved what I said was correct.
I knew there was a misunderstanding there.
Nothing he presented proves what I said, that you cannot get an exact dimension of the diameter of the freaking sun.
It's nothing at all to do with it, even not to mind proving.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point. Is all he did was prove that there's rotation relative to something.
Now, I also understood that you and Larry are on the same side, but I don't think Larry did. So I knew there was a confusion going on there. So
yeah,
Larry
immediately he concluded that I was a flat earther and don't believe there's a spin to the Earth and blah blah blah.
Exactly. And if you look at my comment in the main chat, I said, given space, ball earthers will eat themselves apart.
I read that.
I didn't agree with it, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But can you just expand upon the piece of paper, the needle, and a ruler? That's all you need to measure the diameter of the sun?
And a mirror. And a mirror.
I'd love to hear this.
Why? It doesn't prove anything. All it does is prove that you can do a little bit of math with observation. That's it.
Well, what would you need to assume? There has to be some assumptions in there because, first of all, I know that it's the wrong answer. The sun is not 100 million, 864 million, 1,000 miles across in
Well,
diameter. That's ridiculous.
and that's another thing. The rotation of the Earth
miles.
around the sun is not a it's not a constant. It's an elliptical freaking orbit. So
right, the
It
sun
has
is
an
rotating around
eccentric
the Earth.
orbit.
Everything is rotating from a central source, Aristarchus, Maxwell. Polaris is the main reflection
See,
of Aristarchus from the center.
I don't believe
Everything
that.
is breathing in and
Earth
out over
rotates
an
around the
annual
sun.
basis. That's all.
Pardon me.
But Maxwell, can I just ask you? You said earlier on that what's the point in asking all these questions? You seem to have thought a lot about it.
I could, like I said earlier, I'm here to try and get more information.
Right. Can you just give me a rough idea of how this calculation is done then? You can calculate the diameter of the sun with a piece of paper, a needle to punch a hole, and a mirror, did you say, and a ruler. How does that work?
I have no idea. I just read about it and I didn't even try it myself.
Yeah,
so
well,
I could really care
think-
less, because just by looking at the example of how to do it proves to me, in my own opinion, that it's not an exact science. It's only an exact science of your observation. So
it's
right, but that's a very much
Maxwell, did you?
That's a
do you
very
have
much
a
simpler
background
method
in
of measuring the
science?
distance. Hang on, please, Larry, 1 second. That's a very much simpler method. So there's a different method to calculate the diameter of the sun now, a more scientific way. Do you know what that is, Maxwell?
no, I don't.
Well, Larry, do you know what that is?
I wasn't listening. Sorry.
Isn't you measure the size of the planets and the distance from the sun from them, and you compare it to the light coming from the sun that you're measuring? Is it something to do with that? I'm not fully educated on this, Pete, but
I've looked everywhere and I can't find an exact science on it. So
there's not an exact one that I can find, but there's a couple of methods that I've seen before. But I've like I said, it's been a while, Pete. So
and as I said, I know it's utter bollocks, but you'll all accept it as true. So the sun, even if they haven't got the exact figures right, Maxwell, it's still they're thereabouts.
No, Pete, I'm not accepting anything as true. I'm accepting it as for the best example that they can give. So
right, the sun is 70 miles across, man. Something along that range.
I
this
think
was
you'll
shown
find
in the eclipse shadow, in the eclipse of the moon
Pete,
shadow.
have you seen the sun through a sun filter with an analog telescope at all?
No, I haven't actually.
I would suggest you do that, please.
Or maybe I have. What an analog? What does that do to the sun?
No, an analog means it's just not a digital
mirror.
one. It's just so they can't say it's programmed.
Optical telescope.
Well,
I've got a question for Big Blue. Blue, because someone corrected me on this. Have we radio ranged the sun? I believe we have.
Yes, we actually have done that.
Yes, we have.
So if we radio range something and we know the distance, then based on a view frustum of an optic, we can work out its radius.
All you need to know at that point is the angular size of it. If you know the distance to it and the angular size of it, you immediately know the true diameter of it. Period.
How much measure?
So where is this information? Does anybody know where this information is? Because I have questions on how they conducted this experiment, because I'd like to see the data that shows were they allowed for the time that it takes the radio waves to bounce back off the sun and reach back to Earth, and the account of the position of the orbit in the elliptical orbit around the sun, because everything's constantly changing.
The entire idea
acts like a mirror to send back
in May, the sun is like 93 point something million miles away, but in July it's like 94. It does.
Right.
It moves.
That's because we're on the elliptical orbit.
This is nonsense. Hang on, please. Why did the sun allows it to reflect back the signal, Dean?
It's radar.
Because it's solid.
The sun is solid?
Not solid. It's not a solid.
Hang on, sorry. It's solid, Farmer's Boy, but it's not solid, Larry. I'm confused.
It's hydrogen and helium mostly.
So what allows it, Larry, to reflect back the radio wave sent out?
The same way that we can
enough
radar
mass to
range
it.
clouds.
Does it bounce off the helium atoms at 5 million degrees in the center?
Yes.
Jesus, have you ever watched a weather report? We can radar range clouds.
Ping.
Yeah,
so you can radar range clouds. So how hot are clouds?
We're not radar ranging.
Well, it's not a matter of their temperature. It's a matter of their
not?
density. Oh, what's it density?
It's a matter of reflective surface, isn't it? It's a matter of reflective surface. So what in the sun allows it
Not
to
an optical reflective surface. It's just
there
Maybe there's a mirror. Maybe there's a mirror up above.
Pete, do you
Oh,
realize
maybe it's a
that
big
radio
ball of
wave?
burning. Maybe it's a big ball of burning dodo farts, Pete.
Hey, you're not making any sense.
Pete,
No,
do
it's
you
unicorn
realize?
farts.
Pete, do you realize that the bouncing radio waves do not require a reflective surface?
Not at all.
And just to add, that space is full of microwaves, by the way.
So hang on. How do you get the? So hang on. You're
Ping,
aiming
your chicken's done.
Hang on. From my basic understanding, Dean, you're aiming something at the sun. How do you receive a return signal?
With a receiver. With a receiver.
Yeah, but hang on. How do you receive it though? It has to hit off something to be returned, right?
It hits the sun and it's returned. Yes.
Yeah, but Dean just said. What did you want to repeat it again, Dean? What you said?
It's not an optical reflection, Pete.
You didn't say that.
I said it doesn't have to be a mirror.
No,
A radio wave doesn't have to hit a reflective surface to come back.
What does it hit off of then?
The matter of the sun.
The matter of the sun. The sun is a ball of gaseous
not gas.
Explosions. There's no matter in the sun.
Particles, atoms.
Yeah, it's all nonsense, isn't it?
No.
Isn't it all nonsense? But it's all metaphor.
It's all nonsense, Josh. It's all nonsense.
Hang on. So you mentioned earlier on about the telescope, Freeman. Let me ask you something here, and everyone else. Maxwell, you see, we need more people like Maxwell asking questions. I'm good questions.
My questions are
I've been
asking
questions.
and people shoot them down as soon as they hear them. So.
Right, exactly. So this is a picture of the sun above the atmosphere from a high altitude balloon. I just taken it as a snapshot.
Again. Fuck's sake.
Right. Not this again. Everyone might have heard.
Is that from that high altitude balloon that went to 120,000 feet?
Every one of them. You will see the same pattern being expressed. This is the sun above the atmosphere. So there's no. What do we use a solar lens for? What do we use a lens for? To take out the atmospheric distortion. Right?
Yeah.
Right. To block out certain certain colors or certain lights or certain whatever waves of the
certain
spectrum.
wavelengths. Yeah, spectrum.
So when you go beyond a certain height, you'll get this pattern to the sun. And for all the world, I know what I'm looking at here. We're looking at a reflection, but the more you look at this, you'll understand that you're looking at something very crater-like. Right, so we're trying to think in three dimensions, as a three-dimensional reflection instead of 2 dimensions, which is what the image presents us, right? So if I was to hang on. My question was to Freeman. If I was to apply your telescope, what would I see here? What did you say it was called? An atomic telescope, or
no? I just called it an analog telescope to separate it from a digital one, because I've heard the argument that there are programs built into digital telescopes to give you the illusion of 3D planets, and I just wanted to.
Hey, Pete.
Yeah. So
I'm going to answer all your questions about science.
Hold on 1 minute. So what I'm saying, Pete, you can get, if you got just a normal telescope and you looked at the sun and just bought a semi-expensive sun filter and just examine the fiery ball of fucking hydrogen and the flares yourself, and then tell me it's a spotlight, some godly spotlight or something, because you'll just study it, mate. Honestly, it's fascinating. It's beautiful to look at.
No, I've seen some of those captures, and I've also seen contrary examples where there doesn't seem to be any movement at all, any explosions at all.
Well, watch it yourself then. Study it over the space of 6 months.
I have. So I'm talking about something different. I know that if you go on your YouTube now and type in any high altitude balloon footage, you will find after a certain point the sun will come along for you, no matter what footage you pick, and you'll see the similar pattern. Now you're going to call it a lens flare.
Not every video, because those balloons are not up there for.
So you don't know much about this, whereas I know a little bit more. But I know that you'll find the self-same pattern, right, that I have found here. So what I understand now is that this is a fixity got to do with whatever the sun is. The sun is far from circular here, and when we know what we're looking at, we are looking into a creator, and this is a reflection against a watery backdrop, and this is about 70 miles across, as is referenced, or as is evidenced by the shadow of the moon, because the moon and the sun are the same size, because one is a reflection of the other.
Okay. Let me just entertain that theory for a minute then. Right. So I'm just going to negate the fact that the lens of the camera could have to do with what the image you're seeing at all. But what evidence then have you got that that's a creator showing light and coming from what you've just said. Then what evidence have you got there?
Okay, I'll stop sharing. Bring up another image.
And I just want to say, once you put a sun filter over a telescope and look at that sun, you'll change.
Hey Pete, I gotta go feed the horses.
Nice one. That's the life.
Rolling.
Be good to the horses, man. They know more than what we know.
So Pete, what do you think?
You.
What do you think?
I grant you that, man. Every animal knows more than I do.
Yeah.
Pete, what do you think the sun is then, mate?
It's a reflection
of
reflection of what?
Well, he never quite gets that far.
Well, yes, no, you do. No, I do, farmer's boy. You know exactly. If I was to put it on you to explain what I said,
just answer my question.
You'd give a good explanation for it.
Pete, I can't remember. I'm on my fourth glass of wine.
That's all right then. Now,
farmer's boy, your voice sounds really familiar.
Does it?
Did you stream games at all?
No. Oh, fuck me, no. No, I'm not a gamer.
All right. No. Right. It just sounds like this funny northern guy who shoots
Northern?
people.
I'm from Cambridgeshire.
Oh, I'm sorry, man.
That's all right. Riley thought I was from.
Well, I was thinking
Bristol.
Norfolk. I was thinking more Norfolk, posh Norfolk type.
Cambridgeshire.
Farmers
Well,
Freeman.
that's north from where I am. So,
where are you, Freeman?
I'm in the heart of Britain, right in the Peak District in Derbyshire.
Oh, nice.
I was born in Cambridgeshire, but I'm now in Northamptonshire.
Oh, cool.
I got told by Riley I sound Australian.
Well, he said he swore blue murder. I was from Bristol.
I think, yeah.
I said, well, that shows you what you fucking know. Yeah. Anyway.
But no, I could be a 450-year-old vampire. Pete, yeah, Pete. So what do you think the sun is then? I'm dead interested to know what you think.
Okay, well, let me just ask you something first of all, as I share my screen here.
Okay.
So here we have the sun on the left. This is the same picture as the last one. I think it was from a different camera. I have loads of them. This is really just a good example. We can still see the same pattern. Here is an example of an eclipse, right? Now, I was told that this is a lens flare, right? This is a lens flare associated with the camera, which this Charlotte pattern is consistent through all of them. Right. Well, I was told it was, right? This is the baller excuse.
Well, just go on, because I think I know what you're going to say.
What is it then? What are we looking at here if it's not a lens flare?
There is a tiny little lens flare, but
Look
it's
at
not
the great
that
eye
big.
looking out at you, actually, doesn't it?
There's obviously lens flare.
The more
there,
you look at this, doesn't it look like an eye?
Look, Pete. Are you trying to say like the second picture it looks bigger? How can the sun be bigger?
No. This is
because of that.
This is an eclipse. This is just a stock image I got. There's a lane down here of an eclipse, right? So this is the pattern. So then, whoever told me this was a lens flare, they tell me that this is a lens flare, but this is got to do with the corona of the sun. This pattern. Can you see it? Let me just bring this up fully. Show you. Now, very crater-like again. If we look at it to the right eyes, especially here, right? Here's the name itself. If you want to look up any of these images, Nicholas Lefodo. I don't look into this. I just wanted a stock image to compare it against. Very crater-like. Is this the gravity well that you keep talking about? If we try and think of this in three-dimensional sense, I'm not saying it is. I'm asking the question.
It's not a gravity well. It's not a crater. It's not an eye.
Just really quickly though, Pete, when have you ever seen a crater with such amazing uniformity in the magnitude of the effect of those lines gravitating towards the center of it on the one on the right? So if you look top bottom, there's no crater I know that that's got uniformity like that. None.
It's not a crater. You think you know craters. You don't know anything.
I've seen craters on Earth.
I don't know anything. No, you're right.
I've seen similar craters like that with volcano and lava flow. But
you don't know what? But you don't. You hang on. Everything you think you know about Earth and craters here is associated with the spinning ball, right? And the traditional view of Earth's evolution. Is that right, Freeman?
What other view is there?
Well, everything you know then is bollocks. Everything you know.
I know craters.
So what we do is bring it back to start square
3
one.
times as
So now
deep
we
as
can look
they
at
are wide.
images like the one on the left here ourselves from high altitude balloon footages. I know that they're genuine because the people who are sending up the balloons have no
how many other
motivations
photographs
in
are
terms of
like
examining
that?
the sun, right?
How many other photographs are like that? How many more besides just
Tons
that
of
one?
them, man. Tons of them. All I'm
I've
getting
never
you
seen
to
them.
hang on. This isn't for you as well. When you look up at the sun, Larry, you're looking at
really?
something 93 million miles away, almost a
Right.
million miles in diameter, right? When I'm looking at the
Right.
sun, I'm looking at something about a few thousand miles away, depending on your location in relation to the
You need
barrier
to-
above. But I'm also
Yeah.
looking at an energy source, reflecting a crater-like energy source as we look at it
Reflecting
here.
a crater from what?
You notice? Have you noticed
Why?
yourself how much eye-like it is? Like looking into your own eye. When's the last time you looked into your own eye?
Pete, can I ask you a question about this? Because this is something that I really want an answer from you from. So, do you know about the inverse square law of either light or energy, right? So, if this was close, and you said it's 1,000 miles away, and we know that we can travel for 14,000 miles, let's say, across continents, then how do you think the inverse square law stacks up to energy and light distribution, given the fact that we can agree that this thing gives off light and heats our environment with it?
Well, it doesn't. It doesn't because light.
That's
and
how
heat.
you explain it. Okay.
Well, I've already explained this loads of times. I'm sure I've explained it to you as well.
I don't think you have. I don't know. You said it's a reflection. You said it's a reflection, but I've never asked
It's a reflection of something in particular, right? It's a reflection of Aristarchus. So all of these are invisible energies, right? So we get to see all of these things via the interaction between these energies and most particularly for anything outside of the sun and moon, say the water vapor or water particulation in the atmosphere. When it comes to the sun itself, you have this intense energy against the watery backdrop. So this is what it's called. You know these plasma theories when they look and examine the moon and any of the different bodies in the sky. All this plasma is these energies interacting with water. I was trying to say to Sean G last night, you know, one of those powerful little laser pens, and you see it cutting toast or cutting different pieces. Well, imagine something like that being projected against a watery surface, or, you know, something.
So you
some
think
sort of
above some
what we're
sort of
dealing with.
firmament that there's water?
So my answer is the light and heat that we experience from the sun is an effect, right? The light is dual wave. This is our clue. It's a dual wave particle theory. Well, it's because we have the wave energies, Aristarchus energies, interacting with the water particulation.
So what force is the wave energy coming from the sun that we can measure and absorb the photons?
Yeah.
What force is driving that then?
That's where we go back to Aristarchus, the central source, the decapitated tree of life.
Which is what?
Hey! It's my best way of explaining it, farmer's boy. It's all written like this, remember? The story is already written and known. Everything is known.
Can you spell
To be fair, the Old Testament makes more sense to me than this.
Did you know, hang on, did you know that Aristarchus is mentioned 5 times in the Old
Pete,
Testament?
let Blue ask a question.
Let's listen to Big Blue. We like Big Blue.
Oh, well, okay, I'm done here anyway, because there's no curiosity in your minds. You already have the answers. Let's revert to Larry, the published...
I'm definitely curious, man. I just want it to make sense. That's all, man. I'm trying to understand what the logic, man. You're saying the tree of life and stuff. You're saying this ball, the sun, is energy, but we can measure what's coming from that, the wavelength of that energy of that light, and we can measure it by its color, by the photons. And I want to know what force is driving that. And you're telling me it's a tree that I can't see in the sky.
Right.
Oh, Pete, isn't that a picture of an unfiltered sun on the left?
Yes, it is. It's from high altitude balloon footage.
No filter used, right?
No filter used, yeah.
Then that's the reason why you got that type of picture.
So why would you need a filter?
To see the true shape of the sun.
Show us a picture.
What would be on the ground level the most influential factor in terms of distortion? Would it be the atmosphere, Larry?
No, I said you should show us. Let Blue talk. Let Blue talk.
It's just the intensity of the light. That's what's causing that. And those are lens flares you see. But I got a question, Pete. Do you know what a delusion is?
Right. So just before I answer that, right? Just before I answer that, Big Blue, can I ask you if I took two separate examples from two separate blue launches, different sizes, nothing to do with one another, and I got them patterns to match up, would that be an impossibility if you say it's a lens flare? Is that a property of the camera itself?
Yeah, that's the camera and the specific lens. I doubt you'll see two that are identical.
Right.
They'll
So
always
I have
look
found
that way
loads that are identical. As I
unless you're
said,
able to cut the intensity down.
I might be. Yeah, I might be a little bit ahead of you in terms of your thinking here. I found loads that are identical, and I know that's why the fixed pattern, this shard-like pattern, is a fixity. We're looking at a reflection of the sun, and when you look at it more, you understand you're looking at a crater. Inside one crater alone, Aristarchus, the decapitated tree of life.
If you get loads of pictures that are made with a proper solar filter, they all look identical too, except for the position of the sunspots and stuff like that.
Exactly.
And flares, yeah.
Right.
And I'm not
the
even sure that
sunspots remain the same. They just rotate, right? And I've already looked at the sunspots and, of course, reduced them back to Aristarchus as well. It's all the same thing.
Why can we observe planets rotate over the space of months of observing them in years?
The wandering stars, and just to bring attention to the word star itself, right?
Yeah, but when you look at I used to look at Jupiter. I used to look at Jupiter, and I used to see the moons as stars, like bright stars of the moons. But I could see Jupiter and the colors of Jupiter as a planet, and the position of those stars would change as they rotated around Jupiter.
Right.
I used to observe that. I used to go out every night.
Why do the moons keep changing every night on Jupiter? The moons are always, the Galilean moons are always in a different position night after night. So why is that happening?
In a single night, you can see a difference in their position.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
In a single night.
Pretty cool.
But another point, Pete, on that second photograph you had, and maybe some of you astronomy guys can answer this better.
Sure.
I'm not 100% sure that was an eclipse. They can artificially superimpose a dark spot over that very, very bright sun.
Yeah, it did have a name at the bottom corner as well, like a signature to the.
Right,
that may not actually be an eclipse. They look a lot like eclipses.
Wait a minute, I'm gonna comment on my ADD nature here. The second picture that Pete showed had the texture and detail and craters of the moon very faintly in the black spot. So yes. I would suspect that it is.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was going to point out. That's exactly what I was going to point out. But there's a much greater story here. So this is not just picking something out that may or may not be the case and having nothing to attach it to. There's a much greater story to be told here, and most of you haven't heard it. That's all.
Yeah. Well.
We don't want to hear it either, and that's fine.
You could say the same thing about the Bible and the Torah.
Why did the stars seem to disappear, Freeman, as you go beyond a certain height? What's your explanation for that?
Sorry, say that again.
Why do the stars appear to disappear once you go beyond a certain rise upwards, a certain height?
Well, there's multiple reasons for why you can't see stars in space, and it's to do with not light refraction. What's it called? Exposure on your camera lenses like you're using. If you was, do you understand what I'm saying? If you was turn the exposure right up, what's in front of you would be so bright. You know.
I'm talking about your eyes. Forget about camera. We have the
your eyes. Well, have you been above 100?
Which is a bit contradictory.
Have you been above 120,000 feet?
No, I have not.
Well,
except in terms of amateur balloon footage here that we can sort
of. That's what I'm saying. We're going by technology.
Sure, that's real.
Camera lenses that have exposure levels, and they're not the human eye, are they? You know.
So yeah, my question to you is, why did it disappear to the human eye? And you agree that they do disappear to the human eye.
They do not.
Well, they
do that, don't they? Though.
They don't.
So do you want to have this a discussion just as I move inside amongst yourselves? Who's right there, Big Blue or Freeman? Big Blue, say hello to Freeman.
The astronauts aboard the International Space Station will tell you they can clearly see the stars as long as they're looking off away from where the Earth is.
Yes. So they don't get all the glare, the light reflected off the Earth.
And not at the sun as well.
And not at the sun. Yes, and not at the sun. Yes.
Right. Your eye doesn't work a lot differently than a camera lens does. The aperture in a camera lens. If there's a very,
So
very
behind
bright
them, behind
source,
them is a big glaring, crystalline clear night sky in all of its wonder and all of its glory, and then they look forward
billion
towards the earth
stars.
and they see fuck all.
And a billion stars be all shining back at them.
Billion per square meter, right? Of vision, Dean. A billion stars per square meter.
Yeah,
of vision.
as you know, the light crosses astronomical distances and touches you. And
As I know.
Oh, trippy shit, man. Yeah.
Yeah, but which is it? Which is the case, you see? And high altitude balloon footages show the stars disappearing. Many testimonies you can see stars from airplanes beyond a certain height. So which is the truth of it? What are we to believe? Where's our starting position? Like Sasha
Well, it
was
depends
wrong.
it depends what exposure.
So wait a minute, Pete. It's about purpose, Pete. When they do high altitude balloons with a camera, they do not think, hey, we better set the exposure levels so we don't give a shit about the clouds or the ground and we can just see stars. If they did that, then that's what they would see. But they don't do that. Now, the other thing that they have a problem with is if they set exposure to the stars, they couldn't have the camera with the Earth in view because the bounce light from the Earth would kill the image. It would just come out white.
Right.
And that's due to sensor latitude. But anyway, I got to go. See you later,
That's a possibility. But the actual answer is we get to see stars from ground level because we're looking through the water in the atmosphere. It's water everywhere.
The water's above us,
how we actually see ourselves. Don't you see? How do we see? How do our eyes work? Why, when the sun goes away, does everything turn dark? All the same question. And as we said there, Dean, you hold that light.
He's gone.
Properties of the sun. I hold that light and heat are effects of an interaction.
Dean's gone.
So I'll be back. Well, that's what Dean's position is. I'll be back in a few minutes.
Well,
Pete, I'm wondering.
I'm still curious. I'm
still
still
curious
curious about
if
whether Pete knows what a delusion is, because I think he's living right in the middle of one right now.
Yep.
It's really hard.
And he's letting us all join in.
There's a philosophical argument, or I don't think it's an argument. I think it's a theory more like now, is where humans have this innate obsession to find mystery, and we go down that rabbit hole, and we'll never be satisfied. We always look for a new mystery, and it gives us dopamine release in our brains. Do you know what I mean?
Schrodinger was trying to talk. Go ahead, Cliff. What were you saying?
Oh no, what I was saying is every time he's on a show and I'm on a show, he just derails it, and everybody else has legitimate points. We end up just in a circle around him, just peppering him with stuff, and he gets most of the airtime, and people with legitimate points don't get to say much of anything other than refuting his nonsense.
Yep. You're absolutely fucking spot on.
Like Sasha, he had to leave, didn't he?
It was fun
So
watching.
a big shout out to Sasha.
Yeah.
If he's still listening or he comes back and listens to this, young lad, you did very well, and you've rekindled my faith in the younger generations.
Yeah, and earlier I was asking about Young Blue Skeptic, if y'all know who he is. He's probably 15 by now because he was 14 when I first became aware of him. A young English kid. He's also very, very bright, makes YouTube videos. And handles himself very well.
I think he's taken time out for his. I think he's getting close to sitting his exams and such like, isn't he? I think he's taken time out from producing videos.
His time will come back around.
That's a good decision on his part. But very, very bright young man.
Yes.
I think there's a lot of us that are waking up to the truth, especially in the younger generation. I like you, Farmer, was a bit hopeless, thinking it's pointless. The world's going to be over in fucking 2 or 3 generations.
Yeah.
But the more I see these debates in universities, the more I see a nice, diverse set of ideas, which is exactly what we need.
Well, I think a very good case in point is Conspiracy Cats. I mean, he started doing all this because of the questions he was getting asked by the kids he was teaching at school. And that's when he realized that the whole flat Earth thing was very real, because obviously the kids were picking it up from their parents, and it was like, well, hang on a minute.
Well, it's plastered all over YouTube.
Yep. And of course, kids live on YouTube these days, don't they?
Yep, it's on
Yep.
all
Every-
the consoles. It's on all the TVs, all smart TVs, phones.
Yep.
Every kid in the world deserves a conspiracy cat for a teacher.
Definitely.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
That-
yes.
he has that way of simplifying things, and he's not belligerent about it. Even in debates, I've heard him. He's so polite while he just ruins you.
Even his comedy as well, though. He's even when he's being comedic,
his sense of humor. I so get his sense of humor. I
It's
think that's why I like him. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
very
he's a good
effective.
influence for the kids. I'd say great influence.
Yes. And the more the flat earthers complain about him and say, "Oh, this shill is teaching our kids," you think, yeah, he's doing something right, because the more they complain about him, the more you think, yeah, he's getting it right. He's spot on.
Yeah. Thinking back to my high school days, he would have been one of the most popular teachers in school.
Oh,
same here.
Yeah, hands down. Yeah, sitting on the chair backwards, sitting with the kids. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, down with the kids. Yeah.
Man. Son, if
we
you
had a few teachers like that in my day, but they were.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I had one or two teachers like that in my day when I was in my last 3 years of school. We had one or two that were pretty cool. You know, we had an English teacher who said she used to come in and she'd put like a portable stereo. They had a little shelf either side of the blackboard, and she'd put a stereo on there, and she'd play sort of gentle music in the background as we was reading Shakespeare. And it's just like, this is so cool.
Nice.
You know, oh, it's a sunny day. Let's go outside and sit under the trees and read Shakespeare. Yeah, okay then. Yeah,
so you need more
that's
teachers.
what
like
you
that,
want.
though.
Yeah. I mean,
It's a shame.
it probably helped that she was a drop dead gorgeous blonde as well. But you know. Hot for teacher, yeah. I get that song.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, those.
We don't want to be sexist. We don't want to be misogynistic, boys. Come on.
Yeah, I worked last year with a young lady. She's
Bloody
not a teacher
Nazis.
anymore, but she used to be a teacher. But she's probably late 20s, maybe early 30s. But she looks like she's a teenager. But she was a school teacher in a high school. And I asked her one day, I said, how often were you mistaken for a student? And she said one day another teacher stopped her very belligerently and asked her where her hall pass was. She's like, bitch, I work here. I'm a teacher. So, yeah.
Good on her for sticking up for herself, man.
Oh,
I bet
yeah.
you felt embarrassed.
Yeah. Well, I guess you had to. If you looked like a student, you kind of had to be that way, or else the actual kids would run over you. But yeah, she fixed the problem pretty quick.
Yeah. School, fucking hell, man.
Yeah, we had one or two teachers that were cool, but most of them were sort of, you know.
Yeah, we had one
relatively old, stick in the muds, you know. There were one or two. We had a chemistry teacher who was pretty cool as well. But yeah, most of them were traditional teachers, shall we say.
We found out we had two bloody fucking nonsense at our school.
Oh.
There was this one teacher. He learned, he found out that he had cancer, and he started making this blue meth and selling it.
Oh my God, man. Fucking Breaking
Bad.
Yeah.
Y'all caught on to that way too quick.
Yeah.
What a great show.
I know, man.
I do remember, I think it was the last couple of years of what would be your high school. And all the girls are saying, well, you know, they were convinced that their gym teacher, their PE teacher, that she was a lesbian. We said, what do you know? I think 2 years after leaving school, in the local newspaper, because it wasn't legal then, there was a supposed lesbian marriage. And it was indeed the gym teacher and one of her ex-students. And it was like, oh my God, they were right.
Yeah.
All the girls were, they kept saying, yeah, she's a queer, she's a lesbian. It's like, nah, you're imagining things. No, they were right. They were
Good
right.
on them, man. Good on them for sticking it to the fucking system as well.
Oh, yeah.
My geometry teacher in high school was a lesbian. She quit because, you know, it was a rural school back in that
You're breaking up a bit there,
it was
mate.
frowned upon in that community. So she said
Yeah.
I'm sorry. She said she was going back to graduate school, but really she wanted to get married.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a bit different
And
back
she
in the
was
day,
hot
wasn't
too.
it?
She was
Yeah.
like 26 years old, hot chick.
Oh. Steady now.
Yeah, this was about
Steady,
25 years
steady.
ago.
Yeah. Yeah, back in the mid-80s, it was all a bit different then.
I think I was just being born in the late 80s, mate.
Oh, shut up. Oh, God, I feel bloody old again.
Pretty sure you're lying.
Yeah, I'm not.
Although I'm not. I know I'm not the oldest here, so I don't care.
I do sound.
How you doing, Big Blue?
Not even close.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was born
a
in
mere slip of a
75,
lad
so
at 49.
Yeah, I was born.
As old as
the
you feel,
oldest, but
mate.
not the youngest.
I was born in 50.
Damn, you're one year
Nice,
younger
man.
than my dad. My dad was born in 49.
I'm a 99-year-old vampire shill paid to stir up shit in the flat Earth community. According,
Well, good for you. You're doing a fine and upstanding job of it.
I know, tell me about it, mate. In me little shitty one-bedroom flat.
If you bite a flat earther, does he become a glober?
Sorry,
If you bite a flat earther, does he become a glober?
if I buy him.
Yeah, if you bite, you said you're a vampire, right?
No, I'm an energy vampire. I just suck the energy from. I suck the sane from these flat earthers and make them insane.
But you can find sane in them to suck out of them.
Well, they're not flat earthers until I get the sane out of them, and then this is what happens. This is my fault, boys. And I'm so sorry.
It's your fault. You're the one to blame, are you?
Well, the Queen hired me personally. You know, she come knocking on my door.
What, Channel Q?
No.
Channel Q is our goddess.
Call me double
Hey,
A.
do you think that 7/7 London bombings was a hoax?
No, I don't.
Everything.
No, I don't.
Who knows?
I don't think it was a hoax. I think it was a terrorist attack.
Okay.
There were certainly people killed. I know that much. I've seen the photos.
Yeah, no
Bloody hell.
worries.
Yeah,
I've seen some of the pictures as well. I've seen some of the pictures as well. Look amazingly like a sort of a stage setup. And doesn't it turn out that they were doing drills and exercises which incorporated the exact same scenario that later turned out to happen?
I do
That's
have to
suspicious
agree with
at
you there,
all.
Pete. And I hate to say this, but I do agree with you, Pete, that on most of these occasions, they do tend to coincide with drills of some kind.
Yeah, but I think if you look at the picture as a whole, drills happen quite frequently, and it's quite coincident. It's quite easy to for that to coincidentally fit into plays. But I do understand there are that. Pete, I'm not an expert on it, mate, so I'm not going to say, pal.
No, of course not.
But I do know there's controversy, pal. I do know, and due to what's my brain's already filled with, I ain't got time to look into that too much.
Of course,
I'd like to.
We all know, and I hate to go there, and I hate to be the one to say it, but we all know that when on the morning of 9/11, they were running drills about planes being hijacked.
And the BBC did report Tower 7 fell.
Yeah.
Before
But
it
we know from conversations recorded from air traffic control that when there were reports of aircraft being taken over by hijackers, they were saying, "Is this real or is it part of the drill?"
So
because they were practicing it that morning.
My response to that is: do you know what operational forces do when they're not operating?
Well, they practice. They practice for everything.
This is my argument. It's easy to fit things together. It's like saying Donald Trump drinks water, Hitler drinks water, therefore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's the Tennessee sharpshooter fallacy. You shoot a gun, you find out where it landed, and then you draw a bullseye around it.
So Cliff, you don't know much about the 7/7 bombings. Here's a picture that just a Google search, and I've seen this before. People, 52, I think, killed and loads injured. This is a scene later on. What do you make of it, Cliff? Now, remember, there was drills and exercises supposedly going on around the same time. Does this look real or part of a drill or an exercise to you?
How could I possibly know?
Yeah, just have a look at the picture, Cliff. Have a look at the picture, Cliff.
Well, first we need to understand what's that thing on the face.
Let me ask you, Pete. What does something look like when it looks fake?
Are you an honourable man, Cliff? Won't you try and find out if there is some deception at play here?
Can you answer my question? What does something look like when it looks fake?
This.
Okay.
I'll tell you why.
What
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why.
Have you contacted the family?
Because in all of the carnage, right? In all of the carnage, the time would not be taken for this lady, especially to have a photograph taken by the press or whoever, to have these pieces cut out of this stupid-looking mask that she has on. Where's all the blood? Where's it stained and where's all? And none of these questions occur to you though, Cliff. The fact that there's an exercise is going on at the same time.
How do we know where that
Great
picture
if
came
I could
from?
answer. This would be super if I could answer. Have you heard of
Yeah,
substance
you're under the Official Secrets Act, maybe,
fuck's
Cliff.
sake.
You're treading on thin ice, mate, when you start talking about stuff like this. Look what happened to Alex Jones when he started condemning the families.
Why did you ask me a question you didn't want the answer to? Why do you?
Hang on, I'm just asking a question here. So, what are you saying? You can't speak about certain things, Freeman? You sound like
No. What I'm saying is, What I'm saying is, why didn't you talk to the families first and find out if this is really true before you start faking it and upsetting these families that could.
So how many years are we later now? 12, 15 years later, and there's no right to look into any of these things, right?
Well, why aren't you talking to the victims' families then and finding out
who are you representing? Let's ask you about the moon landings. I think we asked you about the moon landings, and Jeremy came in the last time.
We've just segued. We're just segued.
Chemtrails aren't real as well, right? Chemtrails aren't real as well, right, Freeman?
Let's go back. No, because I'm not denying your theory, mate. I'm not. So stop being so defensive, pal. I'm just trying to.
Don't you pal me, man. I'm not your pal. You're a deceiver. Don't be palling me.
I'm not a deceiver, mate. I'm trying to understand, and you're being delusional now, dude.
Right,
all I'm trying to do is listen.
7-7. Hang on, I looked into 7-7, realized all of this stuff. First of all, we're led into a conspiracy where the government itself is involved and information put in place to but after you get to a certain point, hang on, please. After you get to a certain point, you come to realize that, well, hang on, we're fed all this information about drills and exercises, etc., handed all these photographs for a reason, but we're told it's fake. We're always meant to come here. So you're telling me, you're criticizing me for investigating it?
No, let me explain very clearly so you can understand, right? What I was saying is, I think it's like you're treading on thin ice if you don't know 100% by talking to the victims' families and getting credible word from them that this is actually true, that you may be actually upsetting the families and the victims of if
I haven't said it already,
happened.
If I haven't said it already, I don't give a fuck what you think, man.
All right, I'm just trying to help give advice by saying you're treading on thin ice.
I don't want any advice from you.
Took so much offense to it.
That picture that you just showed, how do you even know that's from 7-7?
I know it, man, because when I was investigating it over at Clues Forum, this is one of the pictures associated with the main
and how
press
did you
release.
verify? How did you verify?
It was from an official source. It's from an official source.
Don't only officials lie to us?
Newspaper.
I thought
It was
the
actually
officials
on,
lied
if I
to
remember
us.
correctly, the Daily Mirror.
Why would you take the word of an official? Officials lie to you,
So
don't
it was
they?
actually one of the main newspapers. I know all bollocks, but do you, Cliff, will you accept an official source?
I'm asking you, did you verify it? Or
Right.
You obviously didn't, because you're saying you think.
So if I give you a link, Cliff,
could have
will you do
been-
some? So if I give you a link, Cliff, will you do some exercise and come back and give us a report on what you find?
Sure.
You
I
don't
got
want
no
to do
issue
that,
with
right?
that.
Because
I got no issue with that. The only thing is, you're saying, where's the blood? Have you heard of a substance called quick clot?
Is it some sort of fake blood?
No. It's a substance that you can pour on a wound. It hurts like hell. It's a chemical clotting, and it will stop bleeding super fast. We learned this in recent combat situations, and we've got much better at combat medicine, and that combat medicine has translated to EMTs in the US and in the UK and other Western countries. So yes, we can stop bleeding super fast, and we have these preset bandages like the one that you saw. So that may or may not be a fake picture, but you can't even tell me if it's a real picture, so you just have fuck all to say.
So you little shit, won't even investigate it. You'll back up the official story and every time. Yeah, when Twitwit,
Shot across the bow.
Hang on, you about faced the last time, Cliff. If we were ever speaking again, Cliff, do you think I'll be as gentle on you the next time? I will make shit of you, man. And I'll make it my business to do it. I'll tell you that. You know,
Pete, why are you getting so
that's
upset?
a glove thrown down.
toothpaste with Twitwit. When Twitwit told you she was in the army as well, she didn't appreciate how you were writing off. Then you backed down and said, well, I know there's problems to the 9/11 official story. You're a little shitbag, Cliff. And I call you out on it. The next time we ever argue, you will see the dodo in full fucking stretch.
I'm so
Well, now that I'm back on the microphone, we're gonna go ahead and calm that the fuck
Hey,
down.
Sean.
Yeah, me and Nightcool had a date just a second ago. It was awesome. Yeah, Pete.
What do you think, Sean?
God damn it. But
I think Quick Clot triggered him.
I'm not triggered at all, man. It's just, where's your open mind in all of this? Find out what I know about. Jez here, or whatever his name is, Millennium or Freeman says, don't do any investigating.
See, I didn't put words in my mouth. I just said I think it's walking on thin ice. That's all I said, in my opinion.
You can call him fucking Susan if you like.
I never said don't do anything, don't do this, don't do that. The way you perceived my words is what you think, and you got too defensive.
Yeah.
I just thought he was treading on thin ice. It might upset the victims if it was.
So you
true.
can't investigate. So if you investigate and you find out it's all a hoax, what are you going to do there?
Then I'll.
Why do you think it's a hoax, Pete?
If that'll make you feel better, I'll personally apologize to you if upsetting or in any way.
You haven't upset me at all, man. I'm just asking you, what would you do then if that was the situation? Would you be free to talk about it? Would you not want people to talk about it? Man?
Do what the flat Earth does. Just deny that it's even true anyway, and just keep going. Same way you guys do it, Pete. Even if we find out that that's true, we're just going to deny it, just like you guys.
You're all in on some secret or other. I wonder what it is.
I'm not. I'm in it for the truth, man. So if something turns out to be the truth, then I'll follow the truth.
Well, your deceptive role is very transparent, Freeman.
My deceptive role is there's no deceptive with me, mate. I'm just a truth seeker. I've never.
I've your voice before as well from somewhere.
Yeah, from Jamie, whatever, from his live stream. I've told you that before.
From somewhere else as well, man.
Well, that's because you're delusional, mate. You've heard my voice elsewhere. This is the only time I ever go on live stream is when I'm talking on this. Unless you've heard me voice activate on my SoundCloud account, which I shared. Yeah,
and we listen to you all the time on your smart TV, Freeman.
So, Freeman, let me guess, just to coup de grace, no such thing as chemtrails, right? A deliberate policy, spraying policy for whatever purposes.
I have heard of the chemtrails and the argument, and I've actually heard officials say that they spray chemicals to prevent harmful sun rays from burning people or something or other.
You've heard about it. You've never seen anything in your own skies, right?
Well, of course, I've seen the grids. I've seen the grids from time to time. Yeah, I have seen that.
What are they?
Well, I'm not. Well, some of them are, but I don't know what the other ones are because I'm not a fucking specialist in that, mate.
You didn't look into it. Do you know anything about what people say they might be because we have so
Yeah. They say they make up of 3 metals: bromine, or something, and some other 2 other metals. That
I think you know a whole hell of a lot more. So what's your position on it, man?
Well, metals that naturally occur in the earth anyway. So when you test for them, they're there. Oh, what a surprise!
Well, this is what I'm saying. I've 2 different arguments, but I've seen evidence. I don't know, mate. I'm not. I don't care. I don't care about that at the minute, mate.
That's all I need to know. That's all I need to know. Like every other baller, you don't care. You deny it.
No, I don't deny it. You're putting words in my mouth again. See, you're one extreme.
No, I'm summing you up, man. You're trying to wishy-wash around things, and I'm summing you up. I didn't ask you the question. I didn't ask you the question. I know your answer.
I'm not a false prophet that preaches and claims that I know things 100%.
Why do you think I asked you the question?
Because you want me to say yes or no, and I can't because I'm undecided.
No, I know you're acting type. I know the script that you have to adhere to.
You don't know acting type, mate. You don't know shit, pal.
Man, you're starting to sound like Matrix. Pete.
Matrix, as far as what I've seen, is the most honest of you, man. Even though he's still absolutely wrong in what he's saying.
Yeah, but everybody's trying to hide something. So
yeah, Pete, what can I prove to you? That what can I do to prove to you that I'm not what you think I am? And I'm guessing
I don't think it's you at all, man, except you're acting apart. You've already proven that to me. I know that by the answers. They're not natural. They're not normal answers. You know, I know every question I ask you. I know the answer I'm going to get. How is that now?
You're asking loaded questions. You're asking loaded questions. That's why, Pete.
Yeah. I'm
You're
just too
asking
good at
questions.
this, man.
You just said it yourself. I'm not. B. You're trying to get definite answers out of me. Yeah. I can't tell you what chemtrails are, mate. I'm not a fucking professional. Do you know? I'm not expert in that field. Do you want me to act and fake and
Well, you
play
agreed as a deliberate practice.
Sorry.
You agreed as a deliberate practice when it comes to the grid-like patterns you see in your sky. It's not it's
Yes,
not
I
natural.
do
It's
agree
not
to
just
that.
exhaust from planes. You agree with that?
I've always
flight
Yes,
paths.
commercial
I've always
aircraft
been
fly
like that,
prescribed
so-
routes. Yes, it is deliberate.
Yep.
Commercial aircraft do fly
paths.
those flight paths
So Big
every
Blue.
day.
So hang on, Freeman. I know I asked you a question. Big Blue. Here in Limerick, Limerick City, Ireland, western coast of Ireland. Even though west is not actually west, that's a different matter. There's been no chemtrails for, I would say, about 3 weeks now, just shortly after Easter, right? And also, funny enough, there's been no planes. I've seen one plane in the sky, and that was just by chance.
Well,
There's
that
been
would
no
explain
planes.
it, wouldn't it?
So what's going on?
Got too much time on your hands if you just sat watching the skies all the time, man.
If you don't see any airplanes,
That's all
it's
you have
a
to
pretty
say,
safe
so I
bet you're
can't
not going to see
notice.
any contrails.
God, you remember when 9/11 happened? You didn't see planes in the sky for
Hang
a
on.
month.
What always puzzles me is Limerick is not on a main flight route. There's only a few airports in Ireland. Limerick's not on a main flight route, so it doesn't surprise me when
Well,
the
that's why you
chemtrails
don't
went
see
away.
any.
They don't
And
fly
when the chemtrails
necessarily
went away,
airport
that
to
the planes
airport.
also went away.
There are navigation aids all over the place, and GPS doesn't. It just takes you straight point to point anyhow. So
I have
you'll
an
have to be
idea
able to
what
fly over all
the
kinds of places that don't
chemtrails
have
really are.
airports under.
Yeah, I know you're going to make excuses for everything and get me to
Jesus
deny
Christ.
myself.
Are they
about
excuses
it
for
completely.
everything, or are
I've
they
been dealing with
answers that you
chemtrails
just
for
don't
10
like,
years.
Pete?
Not an excuse, Pete. It's just that's just the way the world works. I mean,
I'm saying
we got
that. What are you supposed
airplanes.
to
They
do,
fly
Sean,
from
when you know
point A
you're
to
dealing
point
with
B, and
people
they
Pete,
do it
what
all
I'm
the time.
saying, Pete, what I'm saying is that you ask these people questions, they answer it, and just because you don't like it, all of a sudden now it's like this is not possible.
So Sean, I'll ask you, right? So I'm living in a place. I'm well accustomed.
Pete, wait. You just asked Big Blue, who's a subject matter expert, and then immediately tossed his answer away. What do you care to ask what Sean wants?
So I asked after he said what he had to say. I asked him what he thought about what I had to say, right? And of course, I'm delusional. I'm nonsensical. But Sean, I live in Limerick City. It's not on a main flight route, and when we have chemtrails, you have planes and planes and planes. We know the story. Now, there's been no chemtrails, as we call them, for the last 3 weeks, and also no planes. How do you explain this?
You would have to show me that all these chemtrails are
Right.
happening when all these planes are around.
Maybe
and
they're
it's
waiting
not.
for their next shipment of chemicals.
You have to love how Pete did exactly what we
Clearly.
thought. He
There
got
you
the
go.
he didn't want from a subject matter expert, so he went to a layman.
No, Sean came in, and I didn't go. Are you a layman, Sean, on geoengineering?
No. I think I know a lot more about it. And I would first off
Well,
say
Brian owes you an apology. Brian
no,
owes you an
here's the
apology.
thing. I would say right off the bat, Pete, you have to show me all these planes and all these chemtrails versus all these no chemtrails and no planes.
Yeah, but I don't have to show you anything,
Planes and
Sean, because I'm not trying to
chemtrails.
prove anything to you. I'm trying to figure this out myself. So
Okay.
you can take my testimony there as true or not. That's irrelevant to me.
I take it as what
I'm
you
just
said.
telling
But
you
I'm
it's
just telling,
true, and
and I'm
I
letting
wouldn't
you
say it's
know,
wrong.
and I'm letting you know if you want to state that as a fact, then you have to show me the evidence for that. That's all I'm saying.
But does it make it only true when I show you the evidence and you believe it, or is it already set in stone anyway? It's either true or it's not.
It's not true until evidence is provided.
You just said it yourself, Pete. You're trying to find out yourself, just like I am, just like we all are. So we're all undecided. So we can't just fixate on say yes, that's 100% true. Then
No, but Big Blue is here saying it's 100% untrue. There's no
he's
such
not.
thing as a
No,
deliberate
he's not.
spraying practice.
First of all,
Big Blue is.
what are you talking about? He just got in saying if there's no planes, then there's not going to be any contrails. If there are planes, then there's probably going to be contrails. That's exactly what Blue said.
Right. So my point was, Sean, where are all the planes gone?
No, I don't know. You tell me, Pete.
see that's
right,
a
because I'm telling you, the planes were there specifically for this.
That is
So I
a
am telling you,
loaded
Sean.
question. You're asking me
Sean,
a
I am
question.
telling you that I used to live in Ennis. In Limerick here, when there's no spraying, there's no planes. We don't live in I didn't live in a flight. When I was growing up, my child was growing up, anytime we saw a plane in Ennis, a very rare thing. When the chemtrailing started, loads and loads of planes. When it stopped, then no planes at all again. It's not on a flight path. There'd be no reason for a plane to come
What's
in
your
here,
evidence?
passenger.
What's your evidence that they are dropping chemtrails? That the ones that you do see are chemtrails.
I've seen so much to it, man. In Ennis, especially a small town, the spraying starts just before you come into the town, and then it ends just afterwards. It's a small town, 20,000 people.
How do you know
on
it's
the
not
west
cloud
coast.
seeding?
I know what it's about, and also it's also sort of charging the air. We have all these Wi-Fi signals going left, right, and
Ionized
center.
particles.
Right. This is one thing it's doing, but there's a different goal in mind here as well. What we think of as natural, the natural world, is not natural at all. We live in a broken system, so I think it's all connected to HARP and a greater sort of great work.
HARP.
Too big. You're thinking too large now. One's
No,
local.
it's not too
one's big. What's much big? Yes, it is. I'm gonna tell you right now. When it comes down to HARP, HARP doesn't care about what a local weather or local area.
Right.
I think HARP's. I do believe in what HARP does, but I think it's military purposes.
Yes.
And a lot of testing purposes.
Yes.
Which might result in snow or wind or ripple effects.
Just remember this. This is the most important thing to remember about HARP. HARP used to be an entity. HARP no longer is an entity. HARP is only the technology used. That's all it is.
And who are the ground crews that are doing the chemtrail infrastructure? Who are the pilots that are doing it? Why does it seem like every plane has a chemtrail rather than a contrail?
And this is where it gets debunks itself,
right?
Because they have
just
cloud
by
seeding.
scale.
Yeah, they have cloud seeding, and there are millions of companies that do these cloud seeding things, but that's not chemtrail.
Yeah, they do it for snow resorts, for skiing, the ionized particles in the air, don't they?
Yes.
Create snow.
And but they're not even hiding it. They
advertised it. Yeah.
So,
They
Freeman,
actually-
what
they
are,
actually
Freeman,
sell
what
it
are
as
the
a
grid-like patterns you've observed in your own sky, Freeman? What have you said that they are?
Well, the ones I see ones that disappear, which are contrails, and I see ones that I haven't observed them for many years, but I will admit I've seen them.
You're with Samory there, and you haven't observed them for years.
Pete,
Nice one.
He's in the middle of answering.
Pete, I'm stumbling because I'm expecting you to jump
No
in.
one can handle the dodo, man. You're under pressure.
He has no pressure. Pete
give
is
me time and let me
Pete, this
explain
is not
myself
your
then.
live stream. He is under zero pressure.
What is zero?
Show and sort himself out.
So I do see contrails that expand and look like they're forming clouds, which conspiracy theorists say are the chemicals forming clouds that form and fall to the ground. Yeah, but I don't know. There's no evidence made.
Pete, that's what an opinion sounds like. Not nope. You don't know what you're talking about.
Also, let's not forget
Sean.
that the masterminds behind chemtrails are also breathing the same chemtrails. So
Is that right? Is that right, Beaver?
That would
Reality
suggest
sucks.
they're not masterminds. They're
But
breathing in the
chemtrails was
same
given
shit
to
they're
us.
putting on everyone else.
Hang on, please. Hang on. Chemtrails was given to us as a term by the likes of Alex Jones, right? This horror is attached to all of this. I think there's a different motivation.
It was actually given to us by the CIA.
Right. Well, you know it, Sean. Chemtrails. Well, we can break up the word me-ch. What might that mean? Now we think of the word church. C-H-U-R-C-H. Figure that out. Figure that out. I won't go any further into that.
Absolutely nothing.
I won't get it. But so the horror veneer is attached to it. So as I found out, we live in a completely unnatural system, and the motivation behind all of these spraying programs, HARP and otherwise, all connected, Sean. CERN is connected. The steel towers earthwide are connected. We live in a charged environment, and we're trying to repair things.
If we look at your name, Pete Shea, Pete
Shea. Say it, farmer's boy. Shea as in
that
hay.
makes you a tranny.
Why is that?
You're a she. Pete a she.
Okay, but what evidence?
That's what you do with words.
But
So
why,
why can't
no,
we
I
do it with
don't.
your
What
name?
evidence besides that?
That's exactly what you do, Pete. Exactly what you do.
No. Hang on. So give me a word that I do that with, and I can't back it up in a different sense.
Any word you decide.
Any word.
last night.
I'll show you my knob if you show me yours, farmer's boy.
There you go.
What are you, some sort of fucking?
that was
Are
gay.
you some sort of fucking weirdo?
No, you just accused me of being a tranny based on it. The only piece of evidence you have to offer is my name and an
He was
anagram.
joking, using your own method.
Pete, do you know what trannies generally possess?
No, let me just say, Sean, when I talk about Eratosthenes being seas, not earth, I just not only make an anagram, I connect it to the story that's attached to Eratosthenes, because both are fabricated. Imagine you were to write a short story for your child or something. You can fabricate a cunning
And what stories are correct, Pete?
cunning information
What a cunning stunt.
into concoction.
Yeah, but Pete, we can change your name to Pete a she because you do have this unnatural obsession with transvestites and transsexuals.
Is that all you have to offer as well? Farmer's boy, you have an engineering background, right?
Well, so do you.
Mechanical engineering. Did you say mechanical engineering?
Yep.
Well,
So
me
do
too. I
I.
have
So
a
does
degree
Big
from the
Blue. We all do.
University in Limerick, 1995, mechanical engineering. I reckon with me and you talking for an hour on the subject of flat Earth and maybe other associated things, I would make shit of you just like I'd make shit of Cliff.
A 14-year-old just made shit of you. Pete, a 14-year-old made shit of you earlier.
Just made shit of you.
Give me an example where he did, Sean.
Listen to the first 15 minutes of this stream.
He said nothing.
Hey, Pete, did you not watch back my debate with you on Channel Q?
I didn't know who you were in the sense that we never spoke together. So I gave you sort of the benefit of the doubt. Got to know you the first time. Let's have a debate. Let's do a part two to that. And God forbid that the dodo puts in half the amount of time, a quarter of the amount of time you put into preparing. I don't have any notes. I don't even think about these things.
Oh, we
Anything with a
know.
spinning ball or
We see that.
I still defeat you with one hand tied behind my back
else here watch that?
and one leg in the corner.
But let me get this straight. Pete, you went easy on Cliff, is what you're saying.
I'm what?
Did you just
I went
say
easy on it.
Is that what you said?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
It was like I didn't know this person. I didn't know the Schrodinger's cat, their position, and you're just finding out about somebody. It was the same with Sasha.
Hey, I know Channel Q, but we can do this right now. I can have everyone mute, and you and Sillinger can go at it again without taking it easy.
I don't mind, man.
Yeah.
I have a smoke here. I'm ready at any time.
As soon as you can, it's up to you.
I mean, I'm happy to. It's going to descend into Aristarchus pretty quick.
Don't worry about that. Let me talk about what
whatever.
I talk about, and you can talk about what you talk about, Cliff. Quiff. I got to call you Quiff.
Pete, what distinguishes your story to the story in the Bible then?
Listen, the Bible is about you, man. And the thing is here, ye all have an individual story. I think you'll all agree, but you all seem to be reading from the same book about everything. This tells me, of course, there's something wrong. I know I'm going to read my own story here.
It's
but
the
fundamentally all of
I'm
our
trying
stories
to
are the
say
same, right?
you're not giving us any. I don't even know what the fuck your point of the whole thing is. I keep asking you what this crater is, and what's behind it, and what's creating the sun, and all this, and then you branch off onto something else. And I'm trying.
So hang on, have you listened to some of my hangouts before, Freeman?
A long time ago, yeah, but like I said, I've been busy a lot lately.
And you've heard me talking. You've heard me talking on Jamie Brown's a few times.
What are you
right?
doing tomorrow, Pete?
Yes, I have. Yeah, well, that was years ago, though, mate.
Right. So you just haven't thought about it, whereas I've continually expanded upon it, and you're getting impatient because you don't know about it.
Hey, Pete.
Fuck off.
Pete, how about tomorrow we do? Pete, I'll do the one-on-one with you tomorrow, and you can finish your talk.
That's cool, Sean. We can do that whenever, man. And yeah, absolutely. I don't mind. I'm not doing anything.
Sounds good.
How many coincidences does it take to make it not a coincidence?
Exactly, Maxwell. This is why the heliocentric Big Bang, what do you call it, spinning ball Earth is wrong. Because there's so many coincidences that have to cater for it goes beyond the laws of all possible.
I believe that was a question to you, Pete.
Is there a scientific definition for how many coincidences it takes to make it a not coincidence?
Yes, this is called wave theory. This is called quantum mechanics probability. More nonsense.
So there's no that's all. There's nothing to that.
It's not that there's nothing to it, but everything has been misconstrued. This is what I say about the spinning ball Earth. You see, there's only one truth, and the truth is already known. So they've taken the truth and brought 180 degrees from it, and now we have to invert it to get close to the truth again from the spinning ball.
But if you're looking for something to match something, and you find that something to match what you're looking for, does that necessarily make it a coincidence, or does that just make it something that you matched up?
Right, exactly. I do indeed. And the thing is, when you're on your own search here, once you go beyond a certain number, what you could put down to coincidences, after a certain point, you've got to call it, right? And this is what I've said about matching the Milky Way on the moon, Maxwell. I've seen this swathe, and I put one against the other, the Milky Way swathe that we observe in the night sky against this swathe on the moon. And the more points of intersection you find, the more certain you can be that this isn't just some arbitrary coincidence. There's something more going on here, and I have equated that.
It goes deeper than that. I mean, it goes all the way back into architecture and stuff like that, and ancient history. You know, I mean, if you're looking for these things to match up and you find them, how do you know that it's a coincidence? It might be a coincidence that you found it, but it doesn't necessarily make it a coincidence on a scientific basis.
Well, I say there's no coincidences on flat Earth. So everything that's put down to the coincidence in the spinning ball Earth.
I'm not talking about flat Earth. I'm talking about global Earth. And you know, all these, you can go back and look for all this stuff, but you find all these distances and measurements that are out in science today that match up to what science has put out that has existed thousands of years ago. So basically, they knew what we know now, but somehow we lost that information.
Right. Okay. I'm not sure which side you're looking to argue with here. I'm not sure.
I'm not arguing. I'm just asking a question.
To put the point out, why would it matter? Which one to hear an answer from in that sense? A flat earth or a ball earth?
That's my question. Why would it matter? Why can't you just judge the merits of what he's saying?
Who, me?
No. I'm asking Pete. Why can't he just judge the merits of what you're saying without knowing what side you're on?
No, I'm not. That's not the thing here, Cliff. Listen up, bud. I was saying to him, who was he directing that comment more towards? Was it someone towards
everybody, the whole panel?
Well, that's why I commented in flat Earth. When you come to flat Earth or this new reality, no thing is coincidences now. So the sun, for instance, being 400 times as far away and 400 times as big as the moon, these things are not coincidences. That applies across the board. There is no coincidence anywhere. That's
well. If I find the same coincidences for globe Earth, then how do you know any of it applies to anything?
Well,
you know
that's down to the deeper thinking of the individual then, right? And the whole purpose of us maybe being here ultimately, you deciding what that's about. Maxwell, maybe. And the more answers you ask, the more questions you ask, the more answers you get probably, maybe.
No, the more questions I ask, the more questions I get.
Really? What's the biggest question you have now? I've always said this, and I just base it on my own processes here. First of all, I'd say if you're looking for a sign, I don't care what it is. If you're looking for a sign, all you have to do is ask for it, and you will get a sign. Now, whether you distinguish, it comes down to coincidence. You can ask it, and you keep asking. I'm telling you, you'll get them. And then you have to decide on what sort of question you want answered. Make it simple, and well, be prepared for the answer that you get, and the possibility it might be quite what you expected. It might lead to another 100 questions. That's what I would say.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all about contrast, though. Get your fucking feet on solid ground. The earth beneath you isn't moving. But a part of the earth is moving, but not the earth beneath you. Everything changes then.
So where's the big gap between science and philosophy?
There is none in terms of everything to do with the spinning ball is a mental exercise. It's all it is. It's all experiment. There's no basis in reality. That is philosophy.
I think I'm done, man.
In that sense, scientific.
I think I got overheated.
What if this was this way? Where would that lead us? And that has led us to black holes and multi-universe.
Well, Pete, on what basis do you say that the sun is? Somebody's got a hot mic. On what basis do you say the sun is 400 times larger than the Earth and 400 times farther away?
I'm sure I said the moon. I'm sure I said the moon.
Yeah, I think you did say the moon.
Yes, the moon.
Okay, on what basis do you say that?
As far as I know, this is the accepted explanation for lunar eclipses when the moon fully appears to cover the sun. And the reason is the moon is 400, not exactly, I think it's 387 or something times smaller than the
There you go.
the sun, but also a similar distance, an equivalent distance. So 400 rounded
That's
up.
what I was trying to get to. So when y'all round these numbers off to make it sound like conspiracy, but a similar number is not an exact number, is my point.
So how many mile? Why do you use the nautical mile as opposed to the statute mile again, Clip?
I'm happy to use either one as long as you're consistent.
But just to make it simpler, you said, wasn't it? That's the reason why you generally use the nautical mile. Nothing to do with the longitudinal system, right? Nothing to do with the longitudinal system. And as you sail northwards, the mile is not the same mile as at the equator in a nautical sense. Is that correct?
Okay, so if you're gonna make a table, would it be simpler to have 1 degree equals 60 miles, or 1 degree equals 69.7 miles? Would the table be more linear if you use 60 or 69.7?
So it's arbitrary, you're saying?
Why wouldn't it be? All distances are arbitrary.
Every measurement is arbitrary.
Well, exactly. This is my whole point
A
about
foot is arbitrary.
hang on.
No.
When the equation between the latitude, right, and the angle of Polaris was brought to the table so many times, Sean Hawkins especially brought it up. Where was the latitude and longitude system devised? When was it devised? How is 1 degree of latitude defined as 69 miles, which is 111.1 kilometers? And what exactly is the meter? I remember we talked about this last night. It all goes back to defining of the meter. So yes, it's absolutely arbitrary, Cliff. What you decide, this is why hands come into it. But when you're applying it to something, a fixed reality, then it changes, right? Then it alters. Then it becomes important because you were applying something, a separate, something, the same function, the mile, a different value at sea than you are at land. That can cause confusion, which
No, you're not.
Last night.
No, you're not. What do you think aircraft use? Do you think aircraft use statute miles or nautical miles, Pete?
The only reason they use
land.
nautical miles, Pete, is to account for the curvature of the Earth. That's it. Everything else is measured in the standard.
Exactly. So if there is no curvature of the Earth, then there's a different reason for nautical miles, right? And I said last night,
like what?
I talked about this years ago, and I know there's a backbreaking revelation in there. I have to think about it again.
There's no revelation to be had. 6,000 feet is a nautical mile. Period. That's the end of it.
Yeah, and a nautical mile is only used to account for the curvature of the Earth. It's not used as a standard measurement unless you're using it for the curvature of the Earth, which is why it was designed.
So 1 degree of longitude is how many nautical miles?
We just told you, for fuck's sake.
So I'm asking you that. We know 1 degree of latitude is 69 miles. What 1 degree of longitude at the equator as opposed to more up in the northerly regions? What's
Do you know the difference between the equatorial equator and the north-south circumference? The difference is 14 miles.
Sure I do. Yes, sure I do. These are the longitude.
It's tiny. It's negligible.
No, but hang on. Think about it now, Cliff. At the equator, right, we have the circumference of the Earth around the sphere divided into 360 portions, right? 360 degrees. 360. Yeah, if you're going to put that into degrees, we have 360 divisions. Now, those divisions along the equator, as you move your way on all sides up towards the north, will shorten and shorten and shorten. So there can't be one fixed answer per degree of longitude. Do you agree?
I'm not. That was word salad. I don't even know what you
I
said.
knew you'd say that. Anyone else understand what I said there?
No, nothing you said made any sense.
You need to try and explain, Pete. You need to explain it in different terms.
So let's imagine an orange, right? And you're doing the latitude and longitude lines along an orange. Now, along the center line, the equator, if you measure the distance between the 360 lines you've drawn in, each representing 1 degree of longitude, if you measure the distance between those lines at the equator and you move gradually up the orange towards the north center, and then you measure the same distance between the same two lines, which would be greater? You'd have a lessening towards
at the equator. They're going to be greater, but that's where the latitude lines come in.
No, they're a separate thing.
He's talking about longitudinal lines.
You're talking about longitude?
The latitude lines remain
he's talking about longitudinal lines.
The latitude lines remain
if
fixed.
He would let me finish my sentence. He's talking about
Yeah, go ahead and explain it. Explain it, Schroeder.
Yeah, he's talking about longitudinal lines that converge at the poles, which is a globe proof if there ever was one. So I don't even know why he would bring that up, because it totally defeats his argument.
Well, maybe he just doesn't understand it. He's saying that.
No, you have to stress at the pole. You have to stress at the equator at 1 degree of longitude equals this, because if you say at a higher point, right? Let's take up towards Norway, and we're still between the two same meridians, right? That distance necessarily has to decrease because we're going to a 0 point at the north. Do you agree with that, Cliff, or not? Yes or no?
Yes. Why wouldn't I agree with that?
Well, you didn't agree with it a few minutes ago. You fucking idiot.
Are you sure? Sounds like somebody's getting a little bit salty.
Are you Thor? Are you Thor? Reality sucks. I'm going to get down Beavis's laugh.
Just keep the dodo kung fu in the bag.
Well, here, Maxwell, here's the trick, Maxwell. I'll say this more than anyone else here. Here's the trick. This contoured system applies to the sky. That's why we have the compass, Masonic square and compass above the square. The square represents the grid-like flat plane. We can view it as flat. The contour is represented by the compass, which is the contoured sky, which begins low at the north. You can call it 0 degrees, highest at the equatorial areas, and then lowest again at the southern peripheral. This is what it encodes.
Yeah, but the globe sky is parallel to the globe Earth, so I don't, in curvature, I guess if that makes any sense.
Never let Pete help you navigate.
Is the sky flat? Is it contoured? How can we look out at the night sky and tell ourselves we're looking at the universe at large and consider it flat or contoured?
It's not flat. The sky is not flat. It's contoured to the Earth.
Right, but the thing is, we have to decide whether the Earth is contoured or not, and you're going to say, of course, the Earth is contoured, right?
It's a fucking ball.
Big Blue, would you let Pete Shea be your co-pilot?
Are you fucking kidding me?
I wouldn't even let him on the plane.
I wouldn't let him be my helmsman.
Shit, no.
Well, what does this button do? Don't press it. Whatever you fucking do.
How come when I drive from
a vehicle in my car, I never crash into another vehicle, nor did anyone crash into me. But you, Cliff?
Pete, how come when I drive from Canada to Texas, it seems like I'm going downhill, but when I drive from Texas to Canada, it seems like I'm going uphill?
We went too heavy on the drugs and south of the border. To come down.
Like, wow, man.
It's like any party you're looking forward to, right? It's going to be fantastic. All the hookers and cocaine. And then, there's the come down and the trip back. It's fucking long as ever. And that's
I never get invited to that sort of party. I've never been to a party where there's cocaine and hookers.
The reason Pete Shea never crashes his car is because he's only allowed to go circles in the driveway.
Cocaine.
That's a joke.
What was that?
I said the reason he never crashes his car is because he's only allowed to go circles in the driveway.
Hey, Cliff, you took an oath. Am I a sovereign? Am I a sovereign, Cliff, or is my country a sovereign? Which is more value, my country or me?
Oh, here we go.
We're going
sovereign.
There you go.
I thought sovereign was a coin.
Which would you give your life up for? Would you give your life up for a person?
I thought sovereign was a coin.
It's a coin, isn't it?
yeah, there is.
Oh, Lordy coming.
Sovereign.
I hate
Sovereign
to
ring.
answer. I'm sorry to answer a question with a question, Pete. But am I free? Or am I detained, or am I free to go?
You're detained.
You're free to
on your oath
go.
today?
No, Pete, when you say you didn't crash your car, were you traveling or were you driving?
Yeah.
Oh, good question.
What's that? I heard.
Were you traveling in your conveyance when you say that you've never been in an accident before?
No, I told you I've never crashed into anybody, nor has anyone crashed into me ever. So in any capacity.
So you're just traveling, not driving?
It doesn't matter. The point here is I'm not to be trusted driving anything. But if you want to go...
Pete, can
you
you feel that
Pete is not to be trusted behind the wheel of a car.
or anything.
Pete, can you feel that knot of fear in your gut?
When I do what?
Because your biggest fan has just rejoined. A big shout out, and I do mean this, to Sasha.
Oh, how you doing? I don't mind. If Sasha is polite and reasonable, now that we've been introduced, that's fair enough.
He was last time.
Anakin
No, I was
Skywalker.
never introduced. I just got to find out that Sasha was a teenager, not knowing, right? So now I know. But I'll behave okay to Sasha. I have no problem, just as long as a due respect is showing, right? That's all we can expect from our fellow man.
Well, it's a two-way process.
Amen to that.
He doesn't know what I know, so his first question would be, "Well, what does this man know? Let me figure out. I haven't heard of it, and I'm still in the process of
I know that you know that I know that you know that you know that I know.
Hang on, my son is 17, right? My son is 17. So in a sense, it's like me talking to my son here, right? So
Pete, before you start, can I have a second? Sasha, I came in just as you were leaving, but well done, young man. I just want to say hi and that good to meet you. And I'll mute.
I think the floor is yours, Sasha.
Is it?
Oh, there you go. Yeah. A big up to you, Sasha. Very impressed, and you've given me renewed hope in the younger generations because I'd lost it. But no, you come in and you made sense, which was kind of refreshing.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. No, big up to you, mate. Big up to you.
I have a different take on that, Sasha. You come in and you didn't make sense. When I asked you, how did you know when I asked you, Sasha,
we kind of expected that.
I think the whole panel's profits right now.
Hang on. When I asked you, how do you know that the earth beneath you is moving at all? You reverted to the sky and you told me something is moving. You started talking about the Big Dipper. So this is a diversion. So I'd like you to be more specific and certain, if you can be. Maybe not, though.
I can answer your question. Have you ever heard that song? The earth move
under my feet.
What about what about that experiment that failed? I totally forgot what it was called.
Yeah,
well, I was asking Sasha, but I mean, we know the arguments and the rest. But that's an interesting thing, Maxwell. Plenty of clues are given to us in songs, and the Beatles are the biggest clue givers around.
Oh, God, what have you done?
You've invoked.
Oh, you never heard of the Beatles, right? They couldn't be a
steps
manufactured
away from
band.
Dodo and Paul McCartney.
I'm not going to go near the Dodo,
the
right?
Stones
They could be a
myself.
manufactured band. They have plenty of songs which point us towards a flat in the stationary earth. But
They were
so
high
were
on
the
drugs
And
for a very
that
long
song that
time.
Maxwell just mentioned
Everybody
there,
was.
that in its
Yeah.
veiled way is telling you when the time is right to start thinking about is the earth moving beneath you. Because if you can't decide that it is for certain, then everything changes.
Pete, have you researched any of Terence McKenna's work by any chance?
No, not really, man. I looked briefly into him years ago, and there was all of these different CIA connections and stuff. But basically,
Jesus.
No,
looked into
no,
very
don't laugh
basic-
at him. He's actually on. He's actually right about that.
Yeah. So basically, I think he's probably another clue giver. And well, who knows what the greater picture here? I think the greater picture is the awakening of all of us. When you're
Well,
when
why
Farmer's
wouldn't
Boy,
the
and
CIA
hang on, when
and
Farmer,
every
let me
other
just say this. When Farmer's Boy is coming on loading praises onto Sasha for just repeating stuff that he's learned in school, I don't think that that's too
Hold
bad.
up. I didn't learn a
Sasha, what
single.
Sasha is repeating
I
is something that I
didn't
know.
learn a single bit of that in school.
That was your opinion, right?
That was all. Yes, that was my opinion and independent research. The Big
No,
Dipper
I
was
was
stuff
talking-
I.
Hang on, Sasha.
The Big
was
Dipper
talking
was
about
my
your
personal
idea-
let him talk,
observation.
Your idea of so you didn't learn anything about
Pete,
the
stop the
solar
filibuster and
school.
let Sasha talk. Okay.
Okay, well, he just came in there, right? Big bang. I'm not going to. Right, so I'll have a little bit
I'm
of
just
politeness.
asking
then,
you.
Sasha,
Sounds like
we'll all
you've
be
got
good.
a
Yeah,
presence.
I'm asking you to be polite.
All I meant then,
You've
to
asked a
clarify
question.
it, all I
You're
meant was
interrupting
that
him.
you
Let
learn it
him
in
talk.
school like the rest of us. You were
5, 4,
educated.
3,
Fine.
2, 1. Sasha, go.
Yep.
You're educated in the ways.
I just want to say that the stuff I was talking about, I didn't learn that stuff in school. That was all independent research. And the Big Dipper stuff, that was my personal observations. None of it had to do with anything that I learned in school.
So where did you learn about the heliocentric spinning ball model of your home?
Well, I mean, I can't tell you where I learned it. It's kind of just that's common knowledge when you're.
But something just doesn't become common knowledge. It should be fresh enough. Did you learn any of it in school, for instance? Anything in school got to do with these topics?
Well, I mean, I guess we learned
I'm
evolution
sure you
and
saw
stuff.
it, and I'm sure you
But
did
I mean,
your own independent research on it. People can think for themselves, Pete.
So let's Sasha, excuse me, please. Let Sasha speak.
I'm
Sasha interrupted me, and this is the only point I was making.
I just don't like how you keep calling. You're referring to me as if I'm indoctrinated, and I can't think for myself.
I'm not. Excuse me, I'm not. What I'm saying to you is, you must have had a basis in terms of a foundation. The foundation is the same for all of us in terms of being educated, in terms of the spinning ball, the heliocentric model. So when I said that, because you are so young, that would be fresh in terms of your mind. How old are you, Sasha? Sasha.
I don't have to tell you that.
Well done.
What does that mean? I'm 47.
No, that's absolutely irrelevant. Let it go. Move
Yes.
on.
Why should he have
hang
to
on,
tell you that
hang on,
information?
please. So, Sasha, would you agree that if you were an 11-year-old, it would be only fair enough to tell me that you're 11?
No, move on.
No, move on.
So it doesn't matter. So if you were a
Why
5-year-old,
are you discriminating? Why are you discriminating against age?
I'm back up
hang
out
on,
of the
if
rabbit
you're
hole,
a
Pete.
precocious,
Why is it important?
So listen, I'm
not
not
important.
harassing Sasha. I'm just asking a reasonable question.
All right.
So
He has
Sasha, if you were
already
a
said
child,
he's not
here's
answer
something
you.
Pete likes
Move
to do.
on.
Pete likes to overtalk everybody, and then he likes to ask questions so big that he's trying to play gotcha. The only problem is that he doesn't realize that he catches himself in half the damn traps.
No, so the only question I was asking you, Sasha, is do you not think it would be fair enough if you were, let's say, 5 years old, 8 years old, and you were a child prodigy, talking to me for the first time? He doesn't really
Age
know
discrimination.
You think he doesn't really know you, but it would just be fair enough to do that.
You're trying to find a way to discredit him before he's
all right.
Okay,
You don't have to
Sasha.
answer that.
You're
You have
just making
Sasha,
it
lie to
worse,
him.
Pete.
He can just lie to
You
him,
already know you're
Sasha.
under 18. You already know you're a teenager. The only reason I mentioned that is because it would have been
You're
fresh
trying
in
to
your
discredit
mind.
him before he's had a chance
It
to
would have
speak.
been fresh in your mind because of the education we all received. So this is what I meant by that.
Man.
You have definitely not considered all the possibilities in terms of
It shouldn't matter if I'm 46 or 17. I mean, it's.
Well said.
It doesn't matter. You're right.
It doesn't
No, it
matter.
doesn't.
It's the same topic. I can discuss it in the same manner as any of you guys can.
But I think
Exactly.
you
Well
Are you
said.
sure? Are you sure? Ask
Yep.
anyone here. Ask anyone here. Does it matter if you're 17 or,
Hey,
or
Pete.
13 or 14?
Pete, I'll tell you.
Hey,
Pete, I'll tell you
it
this.
doesn't matter at all. Hey, Pete, it doesn't matter at all. It's been established that it doesn't matter at all. And you've only used his age as your argument because his argument crushes yours again.
He's no argument. He's not arguing anything. I'm asking
he did.
him. What is your
He did. Pete, this is exactly what happened because I've been sitting here listening. He came in. He said, "You're trying to establish that I'm indoctrinated, and I'm not. Everything that I've told you, especially when it comes to the Big Dipper, is his own research, and you're not accepting of that. And because you're not accepting of that, you've now turned it into his age, which has nothing to do with it, except for this. The only point of it being is that he is under 18 and he has been running circles around you.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, he could be a fetus. The only difference is
you
you'd be a
forgot to
fetus
mention
that's
the
running
other head.
circles around you.
Hang on, you forgot to mention the other head holding on to this youngster here. That's okay.
And I like to say this as well. Hang on, Pete. And I like to say thank you to every single fucking person on this panel that has not defended Sasha, but acknowledged that Sasha can, 1, handle his own, 2, that you are attacking him. Okay, Pete? Yeah, you are. You literally are. You're upset.
It seems to me like you're trying to negate his ideas.
What you want, Pete, what you want, Pete, is for him to go, Pete, you're older than me. I'm so young. I'll shut up. That's what you want to happen.
John, don't wrong me, man.
Okay, then what is your point?
Don't wrong me.
What's your point then, Pete?
very least you can do if you want to get to know somebody is to talk to them for a while.
Okay,
So,
what does his
Sasha
age
came in
have to do
and
with anything?
misinterpreted. Stop interrupting me, please. Sasha came in and misinterpreted what I was saying because you told me that Sasha was under 18. Then
What
because
how
the
did he
schooling system, hang
misinterpret
on,
anything?
because the schooling system is the educational system is fresh in Sasha's mind. That would be the educational process
He
that he
has
is.
made it clear that his research is why he came at you
Right.
with the Big Dipper,
So
not
let's talk
school.
about that now. Let's talk about
Pete,
that.
what would Aristarchus think about your discriminatory comments?
So hang on, please. So
He wouldn't be
Sasha, you
impressed.
already know the truth then, and the truth that you hold via the education system stands up to scrutiny, and especially when there's a lacking of any flat Earth models that work presented to you. Is that a good summation of your position?
You said yourself there is no flat Earth model.
Right, but that's what I said. Any flat Earth model that you have come across.
Well,
Do you have one to present?
They've been presented to me, but that was for my own research. I mean,
Oh no, I was asking.
Right,
Pete.
so
I'm
I
sorry,
didn't
I'm going to
say.
mute
So
now.
you just said I said that there was no flat Earth model, whereas you said that.
well, you were arguing that in the schooling system there no flat Earth model is presented, but that's because, as you said, there is none.
Flat Earth isn't mentioned, but as you know, it's ridiculed if it is mentioned. In those days, people believed the Earth was flat.
I like this lad. I really
So that's
do.
a very one-sided. That's a very one-sided story. Now, I have a son a similar age, and you think I wouldn't tell him about flat Earth?
Believe it or
I
not,
wouldn't tell him
there's
that I know the
another one
truth.
just as smart as him that I know that comes on
But
every once in a
I
while.
wouldn't tell him that I know the truth. I'd tell him where his dad has arrived at and he's thinking, and it's all about encouragement.
Oh, my faith has been restored.
So that's what I say to you, Sasha. If you're asking these very, very basic questions, forget about a model for a second. The model
Hang
will
on,
just
hang on. I
be-
know I'm kind of going off subject, but I'm kind of me and Farmers have kind of mentioned. Put it this way, he's so mature with this shit. He actually just recently took a break from flat Earth because it was getting in his head and everything. And he didn't like it. So he took a break from it as well.
So Sean,
These
let's
kids
see.
like literally
Sasha
the
hasn't
things that
answered
people
anything.
aren't understanding there are literally people smarter than us, younger. Pete, you just gotta face it, man.
I'm not taking any intelligence away from any. I think the young ones will lead us home, man. But Sasha hasn't answered anything yet.
Oh, he's answered quite a
bit. I haven't started asking anything.
But
I
yeah,
haven't started yet. I was just establishing that this is who we're talking. This is who I'm talking to. First of all, I never met Sasha before, right? Not asking
None
anyone
of us
to believe
have.
what I'm saying, but I don't have to believe
Sounds
what
more
anyone
like
else
stalling.
is saying as well.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah.
So my question to Sasha: forget about a model for a moment. There's no model there, as you say. When it comes back to the basic questions, I maintain that it has to come back to Earth's movement or not. And if the Earth doesn't move, then the ball wouldn't enter our reckoning when trying to find out what is the shape of the Earth because of our universal experience with water. And water at similar temperatures and pressures is always flat under atmospheric conditions. Now, we know that water covers most of the Earth, right? And we know that the water in Australia is similar to the water in Florida, to the water in Ireland here in terms of temperatures and pressures. So, I mean, where is your starting question? Where does it all begin for you when you're trying to figure out what is the true nature of your home now?
Can I make a correction on a couple things you said, Pete?
Yeah, I'd like to mention something too.
You can if you want, but I was just saying.
Well, Pete said, shouldn't you be saying globosphere or flatosphere? Because you said atmosphere, which represents spherical.
I know, man. And it does in a sense because we have a contoured sky.
I'd like to add, there was a strong belief sometime in history where the Earth was a ball and the sun rotated around us, and we were the center of the galaxy.
Hey, is there anybody who globe-wise who wants to step off the panel for a sec so I can have Merle come on?
And Sasha doesn't feel like answering my question. He'll have to think about it. Can anyone else? Maxwell, can you answer my question?
I'm happy to leave. I'm happy to leave, dude. I'll step out. I'm gonna get some sleep anyway.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Yeah, go on, Freeman.
And,
That's cool, mate.
And I'll talk to you soon. And I appreciate you being on.
Yeah. No worries, man. Speak to you in the future. Take care. No hard feelings, yeah, to anybody.
Yeah,
hey, no worries,
all
mate.
Good, all good.
No worries.
All right, cool, guys. Take care, man. Bye bye.
Yeah, catch you later.
Bye bye.
That's my question to
Yeah, I think
Sasha,
Merle
but
wanted to
Sasha
jump
seems to
on.
have gone on mute. Sean, and if maybe Maxwell or Farmers, they've been pretty vocal tonight. Maybe they want to try answer that.
Can you repeat your question, as in what you were asking? Because I didn't quite catch that.
All right, okay. Well, just basically what I was saying was when we forget about models and we sort of ask these questions ourselves, I reduce everything down to Earth's movement. That's where my thought process has landed me. So the fundamental question for me is the Earth beneath my feet moving or not? Because if it isn't, then the ball doesn't even enter reckoning based on my universal experience with water at similar temperatures and pressures, and that is flat when still. So if I decide that the Earth is not moving, then the ball doesn't exist. So
But
I
it
have
is
done
moving.
that. I have done that.
It is,
and,
yeah, but Pete,
I
it is
have
moving.
decided that. But I'm just hang on. I'm just explaining. I have done that, and I have decided that. So that is my primary question in this new line of thinking. I would ask you: do you have a primary question?
Well, one thing to say to that question that you just asked, there have been models of a stationary globe with things rotating around the globe. I mean, it's not the flat Earth isn't the only stationary model out there.
No.
What does that mean? You just said a minute ago there was no models, right?
No, I said you said that there was no model.
I didn't actually say that. Someone else said that earlier on when we were talking, but that wasn't actually me.
Was it not?
No.
Maybe it was. There's definitely flat because he.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was.
you guys have
And
my voice.
Yeah, it
there
was
are
me,
different
brother.
models.
I
There are
said
different
that we
models.
have a concept. We have a logical concept.
Earth. I do apologize, but Freeze was going to clear that spot so Merle could jump on. Is there any chance you could jump off and then let Merle come on, and then if spots clear up again, jump back on? But Merle was trying to get on, and he's
no problem. Let Merle come in.
Yeah, that's
I'll
what was
jump
going to
off.
be for Merle.
I'm gonna jump off.
Give
in
him
10
a
minutes
wonderful
after you.
abortion.
Yeah, as soon as Sasha takes off, then you can jump back on Earth. I apologize.
Can I just say, Sasha, and can I just say, and I know with all due respect as well, are you waiting for someone to come up with a model and say this is the flat Earth and this is how it works? How are you going to check if all these things work or not yourself?
Hey Merle, hang on. Welcome Merle. I said in the chat. I just want to say, just to clarify again, Sasha is underage, so let's just keep that in mind. But I'm not really too worried about you going off the cuff when he's here. Go ahead.
I'm fair enough. No, I'm fair enough here, Sean, and I will continue to be fair enough.
No, you're being fair. You're being fair. I just want to make sure people know that when they come on the panel that he is here and to talk accordingly, which shouldn't be any difference to anything anyway. So, how you doing, Merle?
Come on, the only kids that didn't swear are the ones on Grange Hill.
If my own son was on here, excuse me,
And
if
the
my own
Brits will
son was on
understand
here,
that.
I would be slightly different.
No, Merle.
Sean, if my own son was on here, I would be slightly different.
No, Pete, you're fine. You're being cool. Don't worry about it. I was just saying that just in general again. Pete, you're fine.
And Sean,
Just
let me just
bear it
say
in
that's
mind.
why I object to the deception regarding transgender, because if I'm talking to a woman, I will be different, slightly different to that woman than I will be to a man, and we all know what we mean by that. But anyway, that's a different subject.
Yeah.
Nice segue.
Oh, Sasha, sorry, Merle, just let Sasha answer the question there. Would that be true, Sasha? You're looking for somebody, it seems to me, to offer you a model and then see if that works. And how are you going to test if that works, first of all? But is that what you're looking for?
Not exactly. I just see the flat Earth argument and I can't accept it because the globe Earth argument, it explains everything. The flat Earth argument, it doesn't. It has a bunch of holes in it.
Do you think
I don't know.
do you think people so you're in America somewhere, right? So do you think people in Australia, relative to your position, are walking around upside down? Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
So of course every one of us will agree it doesn't make sense to us because we've never experienced it. The only place
But
that
it
makes
does
sense.
make sense.
It makes
No, but
sense.
hang on. The only place
It makes
Almost
perfect
every one of us,
sense.
that makes perfect
Hang
sense.
on, don't be putting words in Sasha's mouth now because Sasha won't be able to deny it.
He's the one that
The
said
only
it
place
made sense to him.
sense-
We're just
the only
agreeing
place-
with him.
The only place
He answered the question, Pete.
Yeah.
So is that fair enough to say? The only place it makes sense, Sasha, is outside our sphere of sensibilities. In other words, we can never appreciate that in anything we do. We can never appreciate that in anything we do in practice.
I'm sorry. All I'm seeing is Pete just doesn't know what to do right now.
So in other words, have you ever seen anybody walking upside down, Sasha, untethered? Have you ever seen anybody walking upside down untethered?
Well, they're not walking upside down.
Pete, that thing you're holding right now is your own ass.
Those corks on strings on their hats.
Stop, Pete, stop.
To me, it sounds like.
Quick, go back. There's one of him.
To me, it sounds like you're telling me to be open. You're saying be open to new ideas, even though you're not open to any ideas that aren't outside your range of common sense.
Oh, well played.
Well said, well said.
Excuse me, please.
Oh my God.
Who's talking to someone else here? When does anyone else answer for me?
We have a
If I had
Pete
my
down.
cap on, I would
hang on.
Call
Sean.
the ambulance. We have a Pete down.
It's
So
an ambush.
Dodo
There's one of
down,
him.
Dodo down.
Dodo down.
Let's hear my answer. So it's not Dodo down. Someone just goes the first punch, and now the Dodo has to punch back.
Sasha, you're just a couple.
Hang on, Sasha.
Anthony
You know
Ryan
my
coming after you. It's beautiful, man.
So do you know my pathway to the point I'm at now, Sasha? How long have I been a flat earther, for instance? And what did I know in terms of how deep?
What the hell does what you know have to do with what he has to know?
Yo, Pete, here's a quick question. Why are you asking questions to yourself from Sasha's point of view?
Deep.
I don't know.
Derp.
Derp.
Went to us before.
Derp.
And the winner by unanimous decision is Sasha.
Damn, Pete.
Sasha.
Oh.
Gotta concede to this one, buddy.
Man, that
no
was
matter
just
what
priceless.
you do, it's not gonna work for you today.
When you find yourself in a hole, Pete, the best thing to do is stop digging.
Well said, that man.
or keep digging, you'll end up upside right.
And let me
So sorry.
let me make this clear. This is why I allow Sasha to come on my panel. He's a kid.
So hang on, Sean.
But he can handle his damn self. I told you this. I told you.
Hang on, Sean. I didn't hear an answer to my question, bud. I got cut off. So, Sasha, how long have I been a flat earther? And what have I?
Why does that matter?
That just means you've been doing it for a long time. You're still bad at it.
Sasha seems to know the extent of what I've imagined or what I'm willing to.
No. Sasha has never once said he knew how you think.
I can't think outside the box to imagine people walking upside down on a sphere, Sean. I held that to be true for all my life, bud. I held that to be true for all my life, Sean.
I think I kind of want to. Exactly. I think I kind of want to hear Riley versus Sasha now.
Oh my God!
What are you doing to this youngster here? What are you building?
Pete.
No, it's what is he doing to you?
You got me convinced. People are walking upside down, and I think you're one of them because all the blood's rushing to your head.
So hang on. When I ask the question, Sasha is on mute here. He won't answer back. What's wrong with that?
Nothing's wrong with it. He's listening to you just dig your own hole. That's what he's doing.
Sasha, again, what do you know about me and my pathway to my present point? When did I become a flat earther?
A lot of LSD.
What does that matter?
How should I know?
Why does that matter?
Well, do you remember the last answer you gave me, Sasha?
Yes.
Can you repeat it? Can you just repeat it again?
Oh, this is so awesome.
You want me to? Okay.
You think it's awesome, Sean, a teenager talking to a man who's older? You think that's awesome?
I think it's awesome that he's handing your ass in this fucking debate.
Hey, brother, let me say, hey, Sasha, can you prove that we are walking upside down in Australia with a satellite? If you can zoom in.
Well, why would they be walking upside down in Australia? Maybe we're the ones up
said,
walking upside down
let's
in
say which
America.
is down, which is up for you.
Earth. I just want to let you know, you may want to tie a string to your ass because when he gets handed to you, you're gonna want to know where it went and where to put it back.
No problem. But let me ask Sasha something. Common sense. Let's see, Sasha. I put you on a spaceship, right? You're looking at the beautiful blue marble. Now, if you have You have a beautiful telescope, strong enough with enough.
Oh, the accent's coming back.
To focus into the people that are in the blue marble. Do you think you'll be able to see planes flying up all around the ball and satellites and
Sasha, don't
people walking
get in his
upside
van.
down?
Do not get in his van.
Do you
No,
think?
no.
Well, you just told me my telescope would be powerful enough to see that stuff.
Yeah, would you be able to see that? You think you could see that?
Well, if the telescope's powerful enough, like you just said, it.
Yeah, but do you know that we don't have a telescope powerful enough right now, Homo sapiens in 2019, that we don't have that technology?
You just said we did.
No, I say this is a hypothetical question. But did you know that we don't have that technology right now?
He's fucking brilliant.
Just trying to teach you something right here, child. Listen to this
Sean.
one. There is no
Congratulations.
technology
You played
right
yourself.
now that can prove curvature, and there is no technology right now that can prove that we're spinning at breakneck speeds, like they tell you.
It's speeds are relative, but
Oh man, that's all you had to say.
I'm just making the statements that you don't have right now any scientific experiment proven that there's a curvature. Nobody's done that. No Newton, nobody. Aristotle, none of those Masonic individuals that belong to, and keep in mind that all the Masonics that you are regurgitating went to the moon too. They're all Masonics. All right, just keep that in mind. We don't want to indoctrinate you. You need to do your own research.
For a teenage
all right,
brain.
and find out how to test the spinning ball first. Then you're gonna be ahead of the curve. You want to be ahead of the curve, brother?
The glove is not flat. I proved it.
But Merle,
That's right.
Yes, it's true.
Merle, what part of what we're talking about is a little bit too much for Sasha, so to speak?
Just the Masonic stuff. Like,
Oh yeah,
I
I
don't know.
agree. But I don't think he's feeding into any of that.
You think I'm lying? Do you think I'm lying that those guys that you know the doctrine of the Globe doctrine, they're all Masonic?
Actually, Earth, we know you're lying.
I'm just
There's
saying.
No, it's not a lie. You know the Masonics are.
I'm not saying you're lying.
Yeah, let Merle.
You're a pathological liar.
Take a breath. Know who you're talking to.
Hang on. Let Merle say what he's going to say, Earth.
He's not lying. He's not lying. It's legit. But when you're ready for that info, you're ready for it. I didn't know about that, how heavy this all was in high school myself. I'm glad I didn't. It's good being a teenager. You got to have fun and just ease into life. But the only reason I came on is Pete was talking about a model, or something was said about a model. There are models. I found one. There's one in Prague. It's an astronomical clock, and it was erected in 1410, and it still works to this day.
Let me present you real quick.
Yeah.
Well, that's just a clock that shows where the star is. Almost like an astrolabe kind of thing. Yeah, you're right. And they killed the guy that made it. You know that, right?
Hey, Earth, I got a question for you.
Sure.
Can you give me the definition of nothing?
No, nothing. There you go. Nothing.
But it's
but
not just. It's not.
What is nothing?
So
The ether,
nice
they call the
segue
ether,
from
right?
what I was saying to, nothing. I appreciate that.
How can that going to help Brand,
how
the
can
ladies
nothing,
and everybody,
how
and
can
all the
nothing be
children learn
nothing
something?
how can nothing be nothing when in fact nothing is something?
What's
What
that
is
got to
nothing?
do with
What
the
do you mean
curvature?
when you say nothing?
Is that going to help me find the curvature?
Do you
Is that going to help me
the
find the
adjective or
curvature?
the adverb?
Your idea of nothing will differ from my idea of nothing. We have to agree on what nothing is. So what is nothing?
Nothing is something.
It's at least
You know the two
definition.
terms.
I think the glove doctrine is nothing that is going to do
Right,
anything
it's a
productive to humanity.
Here we go with the
It's
glove
just
again.
a
Right,
brain.
it's the dimensions of a
it's a brain
thought. That's
fart.
what the globe.
So you agree with me, Earth? Nothing is something.
Letting everyone know Sasha's off the panel now. You guys can.
Yeah,
have fun.
Sasha's
All
got
right.
it.
Thank fuck
Yeah.
for that. I meant that.
Yeah, he was getting a wonderful abortion.
Just in the nick of time, Pete.
Yeah, Pete.
That was a joke, bud. That was a joke.
That was a close one,
That
buddy.
was
You
curse
damn near
word.
took it in the.
That's
I laugh at my own jokes.
I think
there.
Sean's live stream is going to be demonetized because I haven't seen a sexual assault like that in a long time.
And there's so many people that misidentify the gender and call it Sasha.
Well, that's because he's a kid and he has a name that's not usually a male name. But guess what? He is a boy, and that is his name. And he handed you your ass today, Pete.
Yeah, but listen,
No,
Sean,
he didn't. Come on, man. He didn't. The child is confused, and we need to go easy on him.
Earth, you were part of the
The child made more sense than you two put together.
You know, we're here to teach our children how to test the globe.
Hey, farmers, I was serious. There's another one of them smarter than him. The guy,
Bring him over. We'll give him a globortion right now.
Kid I was
Teach
talking
him how
about
to test the globe.
that was helping me learn particle physics. That's the kid I'm talking about.
Sean, that's not
how
smart.
cool is that?
Children are being indoctrinated into lies. The better they are at repeating here as what
Dude, they teach me. What are you talking about? I'm not indoctrinating them. They're helping me. They're indoctrinating me.
You're putting him up on a pedestal as if he's right in his endeavors. He's wrong.
No, I put him on a pedestal. I put him on a pedestal because people like yourself who think kids are all dumb. I'm putting him on a pedestal so people like yourself can realize how untrue that is.
Well, see, the problem is, Pete, whether or not Sasha was right or wrong,
Pete,
he handed you your ass.
Yes.
I never said, hang on,
That's what intelligence looks like.
Sean G, I've given children every credit for much more intelligence than I ever have. All children are infinitely smarter than I am.
Look, regurgitating us not being smart. No.
Again, he wasn't. He didn't learn that stuff at school. He made that clear. And Pete, you made it very clear. Oh well, an 8-year-old said this, we wouldn't be listening to it. If a 5-year-old said it, we wouldn't be listening. You made it. You aged the crap out of him. You discriminated the shit out of that situation.
Hang on, man. This is a discussion forum and adults mostly. Why wouldn't he just tell me his age? And it's the point I was making. He could be an age.
Why did he have to tell you his age?
In this conversation, this conversation isn't only for adults because those kids are going to be the adults running our world in the next few decades.
Right. I'm not saying about someone being heard. There's a time and place, of course. But in terms of if I'm talking to an 8-year-old and they're telling me what's what without asking me anything about what I have to say or what I know about things, that's disrespectful.
That wasn't the situation. That wasn't the situation at all.
Well,
should I bow down? I have to bow down to everyone, right, Sean? To bow down to everyone these days.
When I'm talking to a 47-year-old and he's trying to tell me the way things are, despite or before asking me what I know, I find that disrespectful too. Pete.
Yes. Why do you
get
do
any answer from Sasha whatsoever? When I try to have a chat with somebody I've never met before to find out where they're at, and just mention a few basic things like they've come from the schooling education system where they heard these models.
He did not say that, Pete. He did not say that. Pete, he did not say that. He told you. He made it very clear. He made it very clear that he did learn stuff in school, but the stuff he was talking about when it came to the flat Earth model and the things that he had researched, the Big Dipper, he did that on his own research, not school.
Yeah,
Sean, I think it's dangerous to bring something like that to your channel anyway.
I don't think it's dangerous at all. Matter of fact, I encourage the two kids that I'm talking about. I encourage them to come on here. The only thing that needs to be done when they come on here is that I make it clear that they are underage in the conversation. The conversation stays to that aspect of it. That's the only obligation I have.
Hey,
next time Sasha's on, I won't be on then, Sean.
That's probably good for you.
That would be a good idea.
A good choice.
But
Sasha, if you're listening, come back.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Anyway, I have a question for all you glovies. When we teach children how to test the glove, you guys get all rattled up because we're teaching them how to perform a test. You guys get all pissed off because we're destroying the demonic spinning ball deception. Because you, gorilla, have never done any tests. All of you have done that.
Yeah, hey, Earth, I'm not sure if you realize it or not. But when you and Pete were talking to Sasha, everyone was quiet.
Yes. And I did a glove test yesterday. I still have my glove test going. I can do it again.
The glove isn't flat.
It's not flat.
Yeah, I can show it again.
And Sean, what about that 1 minute? When is that 1 minute of madness? 1 minute of mayhem?
Yeah,
when is that?
we need that. I feel that.
I think the 1 minute was you getting your ass kicked.
Well, where was I for that? I don't know where I was for that.
You're sitting right where you're at.
Nobody gets the ass kicked by regurgitating game diarrhea, man. Come on.
L, dude. Just
be real, man. The poor guy is so indoctrinated. He thinks he can see the curvature from an airplane. What an idiot the little boy was. I feel sorry for his ass.
Oh man,
you know he's one of those assholes that are gonna follow orders. They're gonna be full vaccinated.
I like how he's talking shit now that Sasha's gone. Now, huh?
Right? Now you're gonna call the kid an idiot, right?
Exactly. Sasha's here,
right?
Yeah,
when you repeat, when you regurgitate just hypothetical assumptions, you are a fuck.
Earth.
Yeah,
mute his flatulence.
Guys,
stop. Hey, Pete, when you and I debated, why didn't you ask me how old I was?
Yeah.
You didn't ask me any of that. You didn't ask me my education, anything.
Okay,
you on camera, Chris?
I'll be on camera again.
Guys, I'm going to start the 1 minute.
I knew you were roughly around my own.
Hey, I know you can hear me. The minute starts now. Go. Again, you got to start off like pussies. Go, motherfucker. You got a minute to talk shit.
John is a man in the Navy. You can shove your ship up your fucking hole. You're a
you got
I don't want to fucking hear this shit. You guys are all pussies. Why is it every time we do this, I got to jump on here and make sure you guys do it correctly? Let's do this right. Jay, you're fucking, you think you can build a spaceship with fucking Home Depot products? Pete, you got your ass handed to you by a kid and you don't even know what the fuck you're doing. Again, shorter's cat, when you do that green screen shit, all you do is showing the black one like a guy.
Tranny art prize.
The only thing I want to think about is Max.
Many midgets. A bunch of midgets.
15 seconds, guys. Hey, Merle, I'm not sure if you heard about it. During this time, Merle, anything goes, anything you want to say, you can say. Go.
I don't know, makes sense. Pete is crazy.
The minute is up, surely. I did that.
The minute's up right now. We're done. Yeah.
It's a New York minute.
So Merle, next time you're on, so you know, because I know you didn't really know what was going on. I do have a minute of freedom where anything can be said. I'm talking anything personal, just as much shit talking as you want. You get to do it.
I didn't get to make a statement.
Oh yeah, but you can. No. You got to talk.
Can I make it? Can I make a statement?
No, not for that 1 minute. It all has to be.
No, 1 minute. just for one statement.
Is it going to be part of that 1 minute that we had?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You can say anything.
It's a question, actually.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
Why is Earth so flatulent?
Oh my God, so funny.
Hey, Sean G, I got a question for you.
What's that?
Have you ever seen the video? You're into MMA like I am.
That's a far-reaching question there.
I'm asking Sean G, who owns the show. I'm asking him a question, please. You're into MMA like I am. Have you ever seen the one where the two guys go into the gym and there's the little Asian girl and she's pretending like she doesn't know how to fight?
Sir. Yeah.
And then she gets in the ring with them and turns out she fucks them up.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
That reminds me of what happened tonight.
Yes, it's exactly what happened.
It's a 110-pound Asian girl beating up a 200-pound guy.
Yeah,
what happened tonight.
She was a professional fighter and a black belt, and the guy didn't know it.
Can I Sean, during the 1 minute of there, I told Cliff to shove his ship up his arse.
What's up, Merle?
I was just gonna say, like, you guys keep asserting that Pete got his ass handed to him. Pete's doing fine. Like, he can handle himself.
I didn't know.
Wait, did you hear? Did you hear
I
earlier,
didn't
Merle?
assert that. I observed that.
Yeah. Did you? Were you here earlier for the beginning of the stream?
No.
Okay. Yeah. So that Sasha, the kid that was on, Merle or Pete and Sasha got into it, like, back and forth, and the kid handed him his ass. It was bad though, Merle. It was bad. It was bad. It was bad.
Hey,
it was almost brutal. It was almost too much.
Yeah, when I saw you, Merle, when I saw you in the chat and they were going back and forth, that was nothing. That was the end of everything.
Ask him a question. There's nothing. You go back and see yourself, Merle. There's nothing.
Yeah, it's
good on you, Pete.
Yeah.
Good on you, Pete.
It did happen though, Merle. In the beginning, it happened earlier. Not
Merle,
just now.
Merle, surely it's not a place though to have teenagers.
Again,
like that.
I'll say it again. they are more than welcome on my. And if you go back into my past streams, they've been here, and I made every time they're here, I make it very clear. And I've told them this with not being on air, just in like my Discord. I've told them, I said, if you're in my chat is rugged as fuck. That's on you. It's on them. If they're going to be in the chat, it's on them. But when they're on my panel, no, I'm not done. When they're on my panel, I will make sure that everyone on my panel knows they are under 18, and they will be according to that. Otherwise, because I have respect for those kids, so that's how it works.
Well, let me just respond then. Just 1 second, Merle. I would just say the next time that Sasha's here, I will just leave politely. I mean, when he goes, I'll come back then. But that's fine. Let me just say to you, Sean, every channel that I've known in the past that has had some tolerance for people under 18, there's been trouble, right? Because there's always going to be different views, how you can be, how you can behave. And I think this is why should be adult conversations in general. But absolutely in mind for the youngsters to speak their minds.
But at the same time,
hold on. I just was looking through the Bible and I found this passage I want to read real fast. It says,
go on then.
In the beginning there was Pete, and then the Lord said, "Let there be Sasha." And then it came to pass. Hold on, let me finish. And then it came to pass that Sasha kicked Pete's ass, and then the Lord said, "It is finished." That's the end of that passage.
Oh, that's brilliant. I like it.
I'm sorry, Pete, but I haven't seen I want to see Sasha against Riley now.
Oh, sure, man. If you go, Riley will demolish. That's not fair to a child.
I'm just fucking around.
Riley couldn't demolish a brick wall, for fuck's sake.
And I'm sure he wouldn't do it as well. You can't have an adult argument with a child, man. What's wrong with you?
True. That's not true. Not true at all.
No, I'll tell you what, brother.
And Pete, here's why
I've been doing some activism with children when they leave the school after school.
Hang on, Earth. This is why I feel the way I do. Because when I was a kid and my dad and his friends would have these debates and conversations about stuff, I was sitting right there. They changed the way they talked because I was sitting there, and that's all that has to be. There's no difference in the conversations we have between each other and a kid being here. The only difference is the vulgarness that comes out.
No, Sean, hang on, please. Sean, you were involving the child in the debate. So it'd be like you sparking up from your chair, getting involved in debate between your mother and father.
Nope.
That wouldn't last long.
Not true.
Because
when I was a teenager, Pete, when I was a teenager, I started getting involved in my dad and his friends' conversations and their debates.
Right, but it's still not a wanted situation. I'm not talking about intellectual debates.
Wanted for you. That's it.
Right.
Yeah, you're just trying to cover up for you getting your ass kicked.
Oh, well, put it this way.
But hang on, Pete, I promise you. Schrodinger, hang on, Sean. You failed to give me an example. Schrodinger, give me an example where I got my ass kicked tonight by Sasha.
He wouldn't let you word salad you?
The fact that
Schrodinger's had Cliff can't answer for himself. Right?
Yeah, I will. He answered your questions and you redirected his questions.
So give me an example. Give me a specific example, bud.
The fact that
don't do a Beavis on us now. Don't do a Beavis on us. Come on.
No,
here we go. If you would see what you're doing right now, Pete.
See, you're
Sasha handled that
and
perfectly.
That's what you did.
I'm waiting for an answer. Sasha went on mute.
No.
You've no answer. Have you no answer, Cliff? You've no answer. That's why I'm
Sasha
going to
didn't go on mute because Sasha's not
there'll be no
here.
hold barred.
Yeah. So you were accusing him of learning these things from school. And he said that he learned them through observation. And then you redirected towards saying that he learned them again through school after he had already said he learned them through direct observation.
And then he explained how you kept concluding that he was indoctrinated. And until he said, I wasn't indoctrinated. It was my own research. He repeated it more than once.
Bring it again. So bring it up again, Sean. You have the ability to go back in your own hangar. Bring it again. And the point
nobody does their own research and comes to the conclusion that they're in a spinning ball. That's bullshit. No child has ever done that.
I did.
Well, you just went around and did.
I wasn't talking about the brainwashing aspect. I was talking about the educational aspect. He's probably still in education or fresh out of it. right? So this is fresh in his mind. This is the
Fresh
truth.
in it, and he said himself he does his own research. What part of that don't you
and
understand?
I don't doubt that. But he's coming from a position of truth. So this is the truth already. If I don't see a model that fits exactly with what I observe, well, then this truth I'm going to accept. And I was going to ask the question, Sean, if you knew, if someone asked you a question and you knew that the answer that was wrong, would you still offer up that answer to try and answer the question, even though you knew it was wrong? Well, of course you wouldn't. You would endeavor to find the true answer, right? No matter how wrong you'd be, you know the answer that is wrong is already wrong.
What part of what you're saying right now has anything to do with how what Sasha was saying or presenting to him for himself?
You can't have a child debating against an adult. We can hear Sasha's point of
I
view.
can. Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
Well,
why not?
I understand why Pete would say that.
Here's the thing,
because
Pete.
He's way outmatched if you do that.
Can't do that. And what Cliff said there is wrong. Go back and listen tomorrow, Cliff. And hopefully next time we speak, you will retract what you said.
I don't believe it.
Actually,
What you just said,
I think I might make a video out of it.
Let me double down because what Cliff says is exactly what happened, Pete.
Yeah.
Okay,
Hey,
we'll see
Sean,
then.
can I use this footage with your permission?
Absolutely.
Off you go.
Absolutely.
Off
sir.
you go.
Oh,
And if
it's
you
gonna be
remember,
glorious.
Sasha butted in. Sasha came in and stopped me from finishing off the thought. But that's what I was going to expand upon.
No, he didn't.
To say that
He was
to
very
say
polite.
that
He
Sasha
was very polite, Pete. Do not say he butted in.
He did.
He didn't interrupt you or anybody.
He came back off mute. He came back off mute unexpectedly and said, "I'm not being indoctrinated or brainwashed." So what I
how
was
bad is
hang
that
on,
of him to say? What?
hang on, Sean, it's bad because it's misinterpreting what I was saying. I'm not talking about brainwashing. I'm talking about in the educational system that he was in. He's still in school, right? That's what I was talking about. So he cut me off, misunderstanding. Didn't have to go into that again.
No, Pete.
No, never happened that way, did it?
It did happen that way.
We all know something for some reason. We're born into a strange land and taught a strange language. Now, if you're in a different neck of the wood, Sean, you might well be brought up to think that the Earth is flat and stationary, right? And anyone else coming along telling you that you were on a spinning ball, you would have them sectioned because it's such a crazy notion. When I asked about people upside down, this is a basic consideration. Of course, I considered the Earth being a sphere and all the people upside down and accepted it as normal. As someone with a young mind like Sasha and a brilliant mind, all the children have brilliant minds. These basic questions are the ones that they can examine more clearly and precisely. We know it's a ridiculous notion, but if Sasha accepts that, then he's already on shaky ground, right? Because he's believing something outside of his
Again,
He seems to be on rock solid ground.
Yeah, and you're assuming again.
Yeah. What's
That's my point of view. You're on shaky ground when you assume things to be true that you have no personal experience with.
Pete, that's what flat Earth is.
Yeah. What's the distance between Earth and Aristarchus?
No distance at all. That's my answer to Maxwell's question about what is nothing. What is nothing and everything at the same time, Cliff? Why is the sign for nothing zero? Hang on, Maxwell. Why is the sign for zero and infinity related?
Aristarchus
one is the twisted zero, right? Infinity or 8 on its side is the twisted zero. Now, why is that? Ask yourself.
I didn't hear anything that you said. Everybody was talking.
Well, right, I just want to know: is Aristarchus bumping into me right now? Why don't I feel it?
Cliff asked, what's the distance between Earth and Aristarchus? And my answer was 0, right? And I also just made a comment towards you, Maxwell, to ask yourself the question, why 0 and infinity are represented by the symbols they're represented with, and one is a twisted version of the other, the infinity being the twisted version.
Because infinity is represented by 8.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's not. It's an 8 on its side.
So the next time I drop my car, do I need to call my insurance company and tell them to accidentally crash into Aristarchus?
So how do you make? So if I give you an
distance away?
Hang on, Cliff. If I give you an elastic band, how do you make a 0 and how do you make an 8, please?
That would be a Mobius strip, which makes a.
Right. And this is what infinity is. This is what the 8 is, Maxwell. You see, the 8. Why is 888 the number of Jesus? Go figure that out. 888 adds up to 24, right? And we're told that 42 is the answer to life, the universe, and everything. You see, what you've done is externalized.
Yeah, that's not 24.
And made it not about yourself, and it's all about yourself.
Can I just interject for a moment, Sean? Can I thank you very much for what has been one of the best hangouts in ages.
Yeah, I
indeed.
But
Go
I
ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
go on. I grow tired, and I've realised I have downed a bottle of wine, and I think I might have to go and lie down for a few hours.
I agree.
But I have to say, thank you very much. And I don't know whether he's listening or not, but if he is, the young lad. See, I'm that drunk. I can't. Sasha, if you're listening, thank you very much. Breath of fresh air. Much
Farmer
appreciated.
Boy, the condition you're in now, this is the closest you're ever going to get to a spinning ball Earth.
Thank you very much to see an indoctrinated
Pete,
mind at work.
You misunderstand.
Perfect example
I've only had one bottle.
of a
I haven't
child
had the entire crate.
subjected to Globe Deniers.
Hang on, Earth. So I'm gonna go wrap it up myself. Like I said, guys, I am, whether you guys have heard it or not, but I am so sick right now. It's insane. So
you're pulling a Dean, aren't you?
What's the Dean?
Well, Dean at the moment he's suffering from a cold and he's got a broken tooth, so he's he's not been at his best.
I'm doing.
Let's put it that way.
I'm pretty sure I'm catching the flu, and I'm pretty sure you guys had to have noticed about a half hour ago, 45 minutes ago. Like I wasn't here for like 45 minutes. I was sleeping.
Oh yeah, you dived out completely.
Yeah. I was sleeping. NyQuil kicked my ass. So I really did just pull this hangout. It turned into the best hangout ever, and I thank everyone for it. And I do apologize that I wasn't here for it, and that I am ending it. But like I said, I'm about to feel like I'm about to go say hi to the toilet and talk to it for a minute. So I want to get out of here, so I don't do that on this mic. Does anybody want to have their last words, and then I can get the hell out of here?
Yeah, thank you so much. But just learn how to test the glove. That's all. You don't live on a spinning ball, and there is a God above you.
Thank you, Earth.
Why can't there be a God
hang on,
above us and a spinning ball?
Hang guys.
I've got an Artex ceiling above me.
Okay.
Yeah, I already tested
Matrix.
the glove and found it wanting. And in celebration of Sasha, I am going to watch Team America 3 times tonight and sing America, fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Maxwell, did you want final words?
Yeah, just good discussion, except for all that bickering and arguing.
We'll get rid of it. We're gonna sum that up next stream. Next stream, I got an idea for how to stop that. But who else is there? Blue. You got anything?
Yeah, thanks for the hangout, Sean. That was a lot of fun. And Pete, we feel your pain.
Pete, Crash. Hang on, Crash. You going on or anything?
I'm going to go on later tonight. Right now, I got a nice video I'm getting ready to upload on Chris Berry, and JM Truth is live, so I'm watching it in the background.
Cool.
Oh my lord, no,
Pete,
I'm not that
What's
drunk.
JM Truth?
It's another.
He's the idiot that got me started in all this when he pissed me off on his ideas of combustion.
All right, hang on, guys. Pete, do you want to? Like I said, guys, I gotta get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Pete, did you want to?
A Meru car, a Meru go round. Captain America, look at his shield. You have a big fuck off star in the middle. Where is that star to be found? A Meru car. You take the trip to Mount Meru. At the North Center, there you have Aristarchus. What's the distance to Aristarchus? 0, because Aristarchus is everywhere and nowhere at the same time.
And then Pete, I'm going to contact you tonight and see you about tomorrow, so we can do the second part.
All right, I'm sorry, Sean. Let me just say to Sasha, I love children and absolute and utter respect for them. I think the children will lead us home, but let's not deceive the children. So I'll do my part against any deceiving I see is going on. Cheers.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. That was beautiful.
Hey, Jay, did you want to promote? I completely forgot about the 24-hour stream. Otherwise, I would have had you saying something about it. My apologies yesterday about that.
Sasha, you're gonna be an amazing flat earther.
Jay, did you want to speak on your stream and everything?
24/7. Well, not yet. I didn't get it up yet. I have to get a hour stream.
Okay. Well, once you do that, I'll make sure I get the link down there. But I apologize. Yesterday, I kind of just jumped off. I completely forgot you were even here because I like to do that.
Yes, because you're a midget.
All right, guys. I'm going to get out of here because I feel, like I said, I'm dying at the moment. Appreciate everyone. Cat, Shonen Cat, you got I let you speak, right?
Yes, sir. I'm wondering, whoever said JM Truth was live. I was looking for that. I can't find it.
Crash did. He'll probably be in the chat if you want to ask him in there.
Oh yeah, let me go over there and look.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you, sir. Have a good night.
You too. All right, guys. Like I said, I feel like shit right now, so I got to get the hell out of here. It was a fucking great fucking stream as far as I'm concerned. Sasha, you're welcome here anytime you like. I'm gonna get the other kid that I was talking about in here as well because he's just as smart. And I'm gonna tell everyone right now, I don't give a fuck. I'll let those kids will come in here and run circles around anybody if they want. As far as I'm concerned, the only thing that I have to do is make sure on my panels everyone's aware of it. Other than that, I don't think it's wrong at all. I don't think it's any kind of indoctrination. It's just showing that there are smart people out there that aren't 50 years old and can teach shit as well. Sasha, keep it up, man. I'm gonna talk to you I'll talk to you in Discord a little bit later on. I want to get something set up where you can present what you want to yourself, so people can understand that just because you're under 18 doesn't mean shit all. So with that, guys, I'm gonna get the fuck out of here. Again, I'm gonna die. So we'll go do that real quick, and then I'll see you guys tomorrow.